Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Gaowu, Devour the Reborn and Gain Magical Powers of Destiny. Chapter 41. Gulu. The young man from the Li family covered his bleeding neck and looked at Shuan in disbelief. He never thought that Shuan would really dare to kill him. He is from the Li family. Shuan has offended the Yi family and dares to kill people randomly. Isn't he afraid? With confusion and regret, the young man of the Li family fell in a pool of blood forever. From the time he stood up to his death, it was just a blink of an eye. Not paying attention to the blood at his feet, Shuan walked forward slowly with a calm expression. He really didn't want to make too many enemies, and if possible, he didn't want to kill anyone. But today, thousands of people are present, and if he dares to leave some room, countless people will be waiting for him to besiege him. Not to mention who is from the Li family who stands up first. Even if he is still from a top family, he will show no mercy. In the first battle, he can only survive if he strikes hard and wins beautifully. At this time, everyone present was stunned. His bloody body was clearly visible, and these flowers, which were well protected by the family, broke out after a simple silence. Oh, he's dead. He's really dead. Mentors, please take action quickly. He killed someone. Oh, it's terrible. I want to go home. I don't want to go to school anymore. Why don't the schools care about me? He really dares to kill people. He is a madman. The teacher will expel him from the school. The sound of vomiting and screaming echoed throughout the world. Where have these freshmen seen such a scene? Many people thought Shuan was joking at first, but when the cold corpse was placed in front of them, they understood the cruelty of Shuan's methods. The instructors, however, remained silent as they listened to those who asked them to stop him. When Shuan said that a life and death status was to be established today, and the contestants would fight to the death, but the department heads and vice principals did not stop them, they understood that the life and death status was established. In the era of all races, there was no peace in the school. If there was irreversible hatred among the students, they were allowed to fight to the death. In the battle of life and death, no one has the right to intervene. Well done, the first battle must be fierce, otherwise what do these freshmen think of life and death? Child's play. With a sneer on his face, Chen Chuan looked at the panicked crowd below. If you have great strength but don't have a matching state of mind, you are still a waste. It was a good lesson today. Guan Wenshan nodded. There were many people with strong qualifications in the academy, but some people went to the battlefield and became soft-legged shrimps. This year, the school is indeed going to rectify this aspect. This kid killed me quickly, but I'm afraid he may also get into trouble. At this time, a deputy director of the Dan department said. The Li family is not a big family, but it is a local family born and raised in Daxia City. These local families are not very strong individually, but they have a very good relationship and work together to advance and retreat together. Now that the boy from the Li family has been killed, I'm afraid the other families won't be able to swallow this breath. Several people present nodded after hearing this. Some families in Daxia are extremely exclusive and have their own small circles. A member of the Li family is dead. Although he is not an important direct descendant, Shuan's attitude may make many people unhappy. With a fearless state of mind, one or two people are no match for Shuan. But it has aroused public anger among the children of these families, and Shuan is afraid it will not end well. Several people present talked in low voices, thinking that Shuan might have to stop here. Those families are not strong, but they have many people. If they swarm them, even if Shuan is strong, it will not help. Yi Yongfeng on the side remained silent, but the coldness in his eyes was clearly visible. Shuan's outcome today has been determined. Even without the help of those family members, Shuan would not have been able to pass the formation system. Before all the commotion on both sides of the avenue had subsided, Shuan walked forward with a knife in hand, looking directly in the direction of the front formation. But before he could go far, 13 people walked out from both sides, blocking his way. Shuan stopped and looked at the people in front without saying anything, but he was already holding the 100-forged sword tightly in his hand. We have no problem with you taking the assessment, but you killed someone and we need an explanation for this matter. The members of my Li family are not easy to kill. Today you will pay with your life. A wild boy from a small town really thinks he can be lawless. 13 people glared angrily, the weapons in their hands emitting a sharp light. They thought they were no match for Shuan alone, but if 13 people came together, they didn't believe they couldn't kill Shuan. Superior. As the leader shouted sharply, the 13 people ran towards Shuan at extremely fast speeds. The energy and blood in their bodies boiled, and the weapons in their hands roared like the wind. Die! The leading young man came to Shuan with a sharp sword in his hand and swung the sword down fiercely. Shuan, who had been motionless, suddenly saw a bright light in his eyes when the visitor came within 3 meters of him. Shunpo. The leader is very fast, but Shuan is even faster. He didn't even see the figure. He only felt that his eyes were in a trance. Shuan had already arrived in front of him. There was a look of horror in his eyes, and before he could react, Shuan's sharp blade had already cut through his neck. Instant kill. The people behind the leader didn't even notice what happened, and Shuan disappeared again. Swish. Tisk. The sword flashed, blood spurted out, and another person fell to the ground with a distracted look. 2. Shuan murmured in a low voice, and the surging qi and blood in his body were infused into the 66 acupuncture points on his feet, waiting for the combat skills to be activated, resulting in the ultimate explosion. There was a flash of red light, and his figure disappeared again. 13 people. A few days ago, Shuan would have had to fight hard for a long time unless he used the formation. But after Shunbu Xiaocheng, the 13 people no longer caused him much trouble. The only martial arts in the world that can't be broken is fast. As long as you have an absolute speed advantage, you can only hit people, and others can't touch you at all. In less than a minute, 5 of the 13 people lay down. The dazzling bright red reflected the horrified light in the eyes of others in the audience. So strong. In just a blink of an eye, you killed 5 people instantly. It's too scary. He is really in the body tempering realm. Why does it feel like killing chickens and dogs when he kills people in the same realm? What a fast speed. What kind of footwork combat skill is that? Can a tempered body master such a powerful combat skill? Looking at the 5 people who were instantly killed on the avenue, everyone present looked shocked. Those dozen people were in the same realm as Shuan, but in Shuan's hands, they were as fragile as rag dolls. This is not a leveled battle at all. These freshmen only feel that Shuan is very strong, but they don't know where Xuanqiang is. But some old students from the school looked in disbelief. That's Shunpo, one person said incredulously. Can anyone really master this thing? I spent credits to buy it and opened the acupoints, but I couldn't use it at all. That ghost combat skill is too fast and cannot be controlled at all. How could he master it in the body tempering stage? When a person next to him heard this, he shook his head incomprehensibly and said, "This footwork is very powerful, but it requires perfect control of the body and a lot of actual combat experience." There was a senior who went to the battlefield to practice for a year before he could master Shunpo. As he spoke, he looked at Shuan on the avenue and murmured, "Shuan has just joined the academy, which means it has only been a few days since he obtained the combat skills. It only takes a few days to hone Shunpo to a small level." His voice paused, and then he spoke in a trembling voice. "Shuan doesn't have a lot of practical experience, but he can still do this. That means he has an innate and extremely terrifying fighting consciousness." After hearing this person's explanation, everyone present looked at the young man holding the knife in shock. His talent is so terrifying. Shunpo. It took me 2 years to achieve great success, but he only achieved it after just a few days of practice. Seeing Shuan stabbing each other, Ji Yuli couldn't help but grin. Among physical realm combat skills, instant step is very difficult, but once mastered, it is almost overwhelming to those in the same realm. But this combat skill is too difficult. A large amount of actual combat experience sounds simple, but it is all obtained by escaping from death again and again. But he didn't expect Shuan's fighting consciousness to be so strong. If we kill these dozen people, the other freshmen will probably be scared out of their wits and not dare to come again. But how do you pass the level of the formation system? Looking at the formation system people gearing up, Ji Yuli frowned. As the largest department in the school, the formation department has recruited 300 new students this time. Among them, there are 30 or 40 children from the Shan Yi family. With the Yi family's appeal, even if not all of the 300 people came forward, at least half would end up there. More than 150 people. let alone Shunpo Shaosheng. Even if it is a great Shunpo, Shuan will definitely die. Not to mention, some Yi family members still have formation bases refined by their elders. If a fight breaks out, how can Shuan survive? Ji Yuli's face was uncertain. After gritting his teeth secretly, he took out a jade talisman. Senior brother, are you in Daxia City? Something happened to the perfect department, and I can't handle it myself. Not long after Ji Yuli quickly delivered the message in a low voice, the jade talisman flashed a light. Don't panic, I'm here. These 4 simple words made Ji Yuli breathe a sigh of relief. There are very few people in the perfect department, and the master is not in the school all year round, which is why he comes to preside over the assessment. Although he is a genius, his physical strength is not enough to face such a scene. But fortunately, since the senior brother is in Daxia City, there will be no trouble. Today seems to be Shuan's assessment, but it is better to say it is a confrontation between the perfect department and the school. If even people like Shuan can't join the perfect department, then there will really be no need for the perfect department to exist in the future. My cultivation level is still too low, I need to enter the spiritual realm quickly. Ji Yuli felt a little anxious. He had been in the body casting realm for too long, and he had even prepared the resources for cultivation in the spiritual realm. Now he only needs 1 spiritual seed, and he can become stronger very quickly. Once you reach the spiritual realm, there are many places you can go, and you don't have to stay in the academy. But the perfect system cannot be left alone, someone has to make up for this gap. And Shuan is the best candidate. It's almost time. When Shuan succeeds in the assessment, we will go to the secret realm. Looking at Shuan in the field, Ji Yuli's eyes showed anticipation. Work harder, brother. Shuan has already walked halfway through the 1,000-meter road. The dazzling blood dyed the road Shuan came from. Call. Shuan gasped a few times, took out a blood-strengthening pill and drank it. Behind him were 13 corpses that had been killed with a single knife. Shunpo is very strong, but Shuan's current cultivation level is still too weak. After using it more than 10 times in a row, even the rich energy and blood of the perfect tempered body will bottom out in an instant. Fortunately, a series of 14 cold corpses shocked most people. This 1,000-meter road only has the last hurdle left. Everyone present was quiet as they watched Shuan regain his vitality. No one laughed at me, and no one dared to disturb me. Shuan won everyone's recognition by virtue of his strength and ruthless methods. At this time, the reason why people from the formation system are not going up now is because it is not necessary. The result is just crushing. Time passed, and after a while, Shuan's energy and blood recovered. After taking a deep breath, he slowly stepped forward again. He was still 500 meters away from the end of the avenue. When passing by the alchemy department crowd, no one came on stage, and the distance was still 400 meters. The weapon casting department and the war technique department in the back were still quietly looking at Shuan in the field. In just a short moment, Shuan was only 100 meters away from the door of the perfect system. As long as you cross the last 100 meters, today's assessment will be considered a success. But also at this time, there was some commotion among the people from the formation system who were holding on to the last distance. The leader walked out slowly. Yi Fei. A few days ago, Shuan destroyed the formation and captured Yi Fei from Villa No. 1. As Yi Fei walked out, large crowds of people began to walk onto the avenue. 1 person, 10 people, 100 people. The avenue, which was 10 meters wide, seemed a bit crowded at this time. The crowd of Wuyong blocked the last 100 meters of the road. Shuan, that's the end of today. Yi Fei's eyes flashed with hatred, and there was a sinister smile on his lips. There are more than 150 people in the formation system, how can Shuan compete with them? The people who killed my Yi family and killed more than a dozen classmates, no one can save you today. Another Yi family disciple also sneered and spoke. Kill him. Do you really think he is invincible? HMPH. Isn't he awesome? There are more than 100 of us here, why don't you kill one of us and let me see? Other departments don't dare to play, but my formation system dares to offend our formation system. You will be dead today. There is courage in numbers. There were 30 or 40 Yi family disciples in front, and more than 100 students from the formation department nearby. Shu An's ruthless intimidation methods were reduced to a minimum at this time. One person may be afraid, but 100 people will have nothing to fear. Above, isn't it a bit excessive to besieged by more than 100 people? Isn't it obvious that this is going to kill someone? Seeing the crowds in the formation system, Chen Chuan couldn't help but frown. So many people besieging one person, this has never happened before in the college entrance examination. What's more, Shuan is from a small town, which inevitably leads to the suspicion of bullying. Although it is a bit excessive, it is within the regulations. Guan Wenshan frowned. If Shuan hadn't made a decision about life and death, we could have taken action to save his life. But the situation of life and death has been established, unless the formation system shows mercy otherwise. Before he finished speaking, everyone present looked at Yi Yongfang. They all understand that whether Shuan lives or dies depends on Yi Yongfang's thoughts. Watch what I do, Yi Yongfang said without changing his expression. Shuan made the declaration of life and death, and more than a dozen people have died. We, as tutors and department heads, are stepping in now. Aren't we afraid of making people laugh? As he spoke, he said even more righteously. When the state of life and death is established, life and death are determined. Shuan is going to die, no one is allowed to interfere. Even if more than 150 people from my formation system die, I will not interfere. In schools, there are always rules. As soon as these words came out, several people present twitched their mouths and felt contempt in their hearts. These words are high-sounding, but where are the dead people in the formation system? How can something unexpected happen when more than 150 people deal with Shuan alone? Shuan, do you have any last words? Looking at the young man holding the knife, Yi Fei sneered. Of course, if you are begging for mercy, it goes without saying. It is you who make the decision about life and death. No one forces you. More than a dozen people have died in your hands. You won't regret it now, will you? Everyone in the formation department laughed out loud when they heard this, and looked at Shuan with eyes full of ridicule. You deserve it. Do you think no one will dare to play if you make a life and death decision? I wonder if Shuan regretted it when she saw more than 150 of them appearing. I made the decision about life and death, and of course I have no regrets. Looking at the dark crowd in front of him, Shuan said softly with the same expression. Everyone, after all, this is a grudge between me and the Yi family. Are you sure you want to go on stage at this time? Life or death depends on it. Shuan didn't want to kill too many people, and the Yi family would die as soon as they died, but in addition to the Yi family, there were more than 100 students from the formation system. They have no enmity against him. This is his last advice. Ha ha ha, you should still worry about yourself. At this time, you still want to scare people. No one paid attention to Shuan's words, which only caused more mocking laughter. That puts me at ease. Shuan nodded, flicked the 100-forged knife in his hand, and stuck it on the ground. Is this about surrender? I'm afraid it's too late now. Yi Fei laughed ferociously, and then shouted. Go ahead, kill him. Wow, there were more than 150 people from the formation system, and their blood and energy exploded, causing the sky here to be dyed red. With extreme oppression, more than 100 people came to attack Shuan. It's over, dead. Everyone present was shocked. More than 100 people charged. They were afraid that Shuan would turn into flesh in an instant. The crowd was huge. At this time, Shuan's calm expression showed a hint of bloodthirsty killing intent. Array up! Shuan shouted sharply, and the spiritual stone formation base that had been prepared for a long time began to shine in all directions. The seals in his hands continued, and the spiritual energy in the surrounding world began to stir. The formation base scattered in all directions now burst out with lines of spiritual power, intertwining in the sky above Shuan. In just the blink of an eye, a transparent light curtain emerged, firmly protecting Shuan inside. On the opposite side of the formation, there were people from the formation system charging towards them. Wow! Seeing such a scene, everyone present was stunned. Array! Shuan actually knows the array. Even if you have strong personal combat power, you can actually arrange formations in the body-tempering realm. What kind of formation is this? A defensive formation or a killing formation? But facing more than 100 people, even if there is a formation, you can't defeat it, right? There was an uproar. Formation is an extremely high-end method in Daxia. Most of them have heard of it but have never seen it. Now seeing a freshman actually able to set up a complete formation, no matter how powerful the formation is enough to surprise most people. However, most people were surprised that Shuan knew how to use the formation, but those who knew better stood up straight in horror. As that, a formation base refined with spirit stones. A tutor from the formation system had an incredible look in his eyes. How is this possible? Spirit stones are extremely fragile. Even if I can't do this, how can a new student Shuan do it? Another instructor who was proficient in formations was also horrified at this time. To achieve this, you must understand the formation pattern to the extreme and be able to wave your hands into formation. But, even most instructors in the academy can't achieve this level of formation. How does a freshman like him refine it? Many instructors who were involved in battle formation were in disbelief at this time. The more you know how terrifying the spirit stone carving formation base is. Not to mention the formation, just the understanding of this formation is far beyond them. Above, at this time, even Guan Wenshan, Chen Chuan and others looked shocked. Although they were surprised by the methods Shuan showed, whether it was perfect body tempering or super strong fighting consciousness, it was not difficult to accept. But the skill of carving formation patterns on the spirit stone caught them by surprise. This kind of technique is not something ordinary people can do with their understanding of formations. HMPH. The formation inheritance in the secret realm is indeed in his hands. But even if you have the formation, how much power can you exert with your strength in the body tempering realm? Yi Yongfang stared at the seal in Shuan's hand with murderous intent in his eyes. Those should belong to the Yi family. In the field, the appearance of the formation shocked everyone in the formation system for a moment, but then they sneered and charged again. The strength of the formation also depends on one's own strength. How much power can a body tempering state exert? Kill him. In the blink of an eye, Yi Fei took the lead and brought more than 100 disciples from the formation system to the formation. Without hesitation, the majestic energy and blood power gathered by everyone was blasted away. Array up! Shuan shouted sharply when he saw this. The seal in his hand was changing. The spiritual energy roots intertwined in the sky have undergone earth-shaking changes at this time. The spiritual energy in the surrounding world began to converge crazily towards the formation. Dong, Lihuo. As soon as the voice fell, a huge fire instantly ignited within the transparent light curtain. Lift the fire and start a prairie fire. The seal in Shuan's hand was so fast that afterimages appeared. The monstrous fire immediately swallowed up the first group of people who stepped into the formation. Ah, fire! Such a big fire! It's burning to death. Ah, where did the work come from? Get out of the way and let me out. Don't run away, rush together, his formation won't last long. The originally neat team was instantly thrown into chaos when faced with a prairie fire. The first group of people who entered the formation were all ignited with flames, which could not be extinguished or avoided. The screams were endless. Don't panic, he is only in the body tempering state. If we attack his formation together, he can't stop it. Yi Fei shouted loudly, and was the first to take action, hitting the flames coming from the shop. Seeing this, everyone else gathered together, and the majestic power of chi and blood gathered, tearing apart the flame in an instant. Haha. Don't be afraid, his formation is useless. Everyone was surprised when they saw this, and they were confident again. Hundreds of people united and began to press forward step by step, compressing the space of the flame. At this time, Shuan didn't even look at it, and the seal in his hand never stopped. The spiritual power is not enough. Shuan's face was solemn, and there was a change in the seal. Spirit gathering array. Among the hundreds of spiritual stones, some that had not been used now glowed dazzlingly. Boom! The spiritual power between heaven and earth boiled and began to pour into the formation like a whirlpool. The weak flame suddenly exploded as if a large amount of gasoline had been poured into it. The formation base engraved on the spirit stone now showed its importance. With the ability to naturally absorb spiritual power, Shuan could exert huge power without using too much of Shuan's physical strength. However, this is not enough. Killing one is killing, killing 100 is killing. In the raging flames, Shuan looked at the people in the formation system through the twisted space, with a cold murderous intent in his eyes. I gave you a chance. If you don't cherish it, then you all die. As the words fell, the seal in Shuan's hand was changing, and the parts of the 100 spiritual stones that had never been illuminated were now emitting bright light. The wind is coming. The wind is coming. As Shuan's shout fell, a tiny tornado appeared in the center of the flame. This tornado was extremely small when it first appeared, but as the flames gathered in the sky, it suddenly expanded. Boom! The wind borrows the power of the fire, and the fire assists the power of the wind. The originally scattered flames were instantly gathered together, and their power suddenly increased tenfold. Kill! The seal in Shuan's hand changed, and the fire dragon seemed to have consciousness, swallowing up everyone in the formation system. In an instant, shrill screams resounded throughout the world. Ah! Help me! Help me! I can't stop it! No! Let me out! I don't want to fight! Let me out! Impossible! This is impossible! How can such a formation be arranged in the body-tempering realm? The fire dragon, which was several feet high, brought with it terrifying oppression, making everyone in the formation system scream in fear. They were able to withstand the flames just now with their numerical advantage. But as the strong wind came in, the power of the formation skyrocketed, making it impossible to withstand it. In just a short moment, more than 20 people were swallowed up by the fire dragon. At this time, everyone watching the battle was dumbfounded when they saw the 10-meter-long fire dragon. Is this something that can be achieved in the body-tempering realm? Is it fake? Even if the formation is strong, can Shuan's energy and blood support it? It's too scary. Such heavenly power cannot be resisted by the body-tempering realm. The freshmen stared blankly at the fire dragon raging. Even if they were watching from a distance, they could feel the heat coming from the pavement. It's hard to imagine how those people who were caught in the fire dragon could escape. But they didn't understand why Shuan, who was in the body-tempering state, could use such a powerful formation. At this time, some instructors who were familiar with the formation murmured with shocked expressions. Shuan is not using his own power, but relying on the power of heaven and earth. The base of this formation is made of spirit stones. Spirit stones naturally have good conductivity to spiritual energy. If that's the case, Shuan himself has to bear most of the energy supply, but he actually engraved a set of spirit gathering arrays in the formation. The instructor had a look of amazement on his face. A genius idea, relying on the excellent transmission of spiritual energy by spirit stones, and adding the spirit gathering array, the consumption of Shuan has been reduced to the minimum. In this way, this formation consumes the power of heaven and earth, and can exert a power far beyond the body-quenching realm. When the freshmen around them heard the explanation, their eyes showed confusion. Unexpectedly, they couldn't understand the twists and turns here, but seeing the exclamation on their instructor's face still made their hearts skip a beat. Could it be that even the instructor can't do this? Above, the battlefield where offense and defense suddenly changed also made Chen Chuan and others stunned. No one expected that Shuan actually hid such a skill. Use the spirit stone to carve the base of the formation, and then use the formation method plus the spirit gathering formation to mobilize the power of heaven and earth. Guan Wenshan couldn't help but admired. Not even the tutors from the school can do this kind of technique. Shuan's understanding of formations is too strong. Hearing this, everyone on the side looked at Guan Wenshan in disbelief. They are not very familiar with the formation, but they can make Guan Wenshan praise the word, too strong. How far has Shuan's understanding of the formation reached? Yi Yongfang on the side did not refute, but his face was terrifyingly gloomy. As the head of the formation department, his understanding of the formation Dao is certainly far superior to that of a few others. But precisely because of this, it was hard to hide the shock in my heart. He can do what Shuan is doing now, but what is he? Who is Shuan? A head of the formation department and a new student. To the extent that the two can compare, he has already completely lost. It's a good idea, but it's too naive, Yi Yongfang said in a cold voice with a gloomy face. If he only uses the fire formation to fight the enemy, he can maintain it for a long time. But he recklessly joined the wind formation. The conflict between the two formations will cause the formation base to collapse. You're thinking about merging formations at such a senior level? Yi Yongfang snorted coldly. Don't say it's him, even I can't do this. Just watch, his formation will soon be conflicted by the formation and naturally collapse. After saying this, Chen Chuan and others present all looked down. Sure enough, the powerful fire dragon just launched an attack and was already in some confusion. The spiritual energy of the surrounding heaven and earth began to stir, and the spiritual stone array bases scattered in all directions were also trembling at extremely fast speeds, as if they were about to collapse in the next moment. However, at this moment, Shuan seemed to have known this would happen for a long time. His face was calm as usual, and the formation seal in his hand changed. In an instant, the last 30 spiritual stones that had not yet lit up among the 100 spiritual stones emitted a bright light. Threads of spiritual power gathered in the void, separating the two formations of wind and fire, but they also link the two formations with their own spiritual power threads. After a while, the formation, which was a little unstable just now, suddenly settled down and became even more powerful. It's over, everyone. All the 100 spirit stone array bases lit up. Shuan grinned, showing his strong teeth. Kill, roar. The wind and fire completely merged, and the terrifying power exploded to the extreme. The fire dragon seemed to have gained consciousness and rushed directly into the crowd. With a devastating power, it directly started the massacre. Ah, help, can't stop it, can't stop it. Flames and violent winds were everywhere and pervasive. More than 100 new formation system students died in an instant, with more than half of them dead. At this time, Shuan didn't hold back at all and focused on killing the Yi family. We have come to this point, killing one is still killing hundreds is still killing. The oppression during this period and the Yi family's persecution made Shuan red-eyed. Everyone present stared blankly at the figure standing in the fire dragon. The expected ending did not happen, but one person killed more than 150 people and fled in all directions. They may never forget this scene in their lifetime. They all said that Ji Yuli's martial arts heart was broken when he killed the new student in his class, but they didn't understand it at the time. But now, he has some experience. Because in their same class, there also appeared such a terrifying figure. However, they couldn't see that Ji Yuli was confused at this time. I asked you to take part in the assessment, and you went crazy. The corners of Ji Yuli's mouth twitched and his eyelids twitched. He was already fierce enough back then, but compared to Shuan, he was just a joke. Who dares to kill someone during the freshman exam? Or is one person chasing and killing more than 150 people? Shuan did it, and he really won the recognition of everyone in the department. Not relying on any conspiracy or tricks, but really killing everyone step by step. But just when Ji Yuli thought nothing unexpected would happen, a loud shout filled with monstrous rage exploded from the sky. Shuan, you are looking for death. The terrifying pressure fell like the sky falling. The several-foot-long fire dragon couldn't resist it at all and dispersed like the wind. Shuan's expression changed, the formation seals in his hands changed, and he cut off the connection with the formation at the last moment. The next moment, the base of the 100 spiritual stones exploded into pieces. Yi Yongfang stood in the void. Although his face was extremely gloomy, he could not hide the shock in his eyes. Just now, the wind array and the fire array were perfectly integrated. This set off a storm in his heart. You know, even he has not mastered such formation techniques. In other words, is Shuan's understanding of the formation still better than his? As soon as he thought of this, Yi Yongfang couldn't help but feel a frightening murderous intention. A person with such a terrifying understanding of formations is only 18 years old, and he is also the sworn enemy of the Yi family. Is this okay if Shuan needs to grow up? Let's not mention these for now. Yi Yongfang's eyes swept across the audience, and his heart bleeds when he saw that there were only 50 or 60 formation students left. The resource allocation of the school each year is directly linked to the number of new students. Now that more than 100 people have died directly, the resources of the formation system must be reduced by at least 1/3. Who knew that even 1/3 is an astronomical figure? Moreover, among the 37 Yi family disciples who joined the academy this year, more than 20 died. These are the new forces of the Yi family. Now that so many people have died at once, how can he explain to his family? If he loses his mind, he not only loses a lot of resources, but also faces severe accountability within the family. Thinking of this consequence, even with Yi Yongfeng's state of mind, he couldn't help but his eyes turned black. Shu, En. Gritting teeth and an angry voice sounded. Yi Yongfeng looked at Shu En, with undisguised murderous intent in his eyes. Why, does Department Chief Yi also want to participate in the new life and death battle? Shu En looked directly at Yi Yongfeng. The word, life and death battle, in his words was very serious, and the sarcasm in his eyes was even more undisguised. He had already anticipated this step when he made the decision about life and death. Shu En, during the freshman assessment, you actually killed so many of your classmates. What's your motive? Yi Yongfeng's body exuded terrifying aura fluctuations, and he looked at Shu En as if he were looking at a dead person. You were obviously sure of winning, but you still resorted to such a heavy blow, causing the school to lose hundreds of students. I suspect that you are a spy from the alien religion, specifically here to harm the genius of the human race. Yi Yongfeng's voice fell, and there was an uproar on the scene. With Yi Yongfeng's status, if this big label is taken off, it is basically finalized. Don't say slander, even if it is slander, what can you do? Using power to suppress others, Yi Yongfeng no longer cared about the rules at this time. A spy from a foreign cult. It's a joke. If you want to accuse me, why bother? Shu En laughed angrily, looked at Yi Yongfeng and said coldly. I really want to ask Chief Yi, what did I do to make the Yi family target me like this? Before Yi Yongfeng could speak, Shu En sarcastically said. Kill Yi Qingru, a direct descendant of the Yi family. Or kill the genius of the Yi family, Yi Jingming. When everyone present heard this, their eyelids jumped wildly. Most of them knew that Shu En had a grudge against the Yi family, but the specific details were not clear. Now that I heard Shu An's story, I finally understood why the Yi family insisted on killing Shu En. He killed more than one of his direct descendants, so Shu An's survival is already a fortune. Do you think I deserve to die? As if he knew what everyone was thinking, Shu En looked around the audience and said loudly. Yi Qingru joined the Blood God sect 3 years ago and became a saint of the Blood God sect. She moved to Jin Lincheng and secretly planned with several alien sects to kill Jin Lincheng students and attack major schools. Everyone, am I guilty of killing Yi Qingru? Wow. One word stirred up 1,000 waves. Yi Qingru of the Yi family is actually a saint of the Blood God sect. She has become a lackey of the alien religion. I can kill her even 100 times. People from the Yi family have actually joined the Blood God cult. Do they still have the nerve to seek revenge? Yes, the dogs of the alien religion are punished by everyone. Where does Yi Yongfeng have the face? After understanding the cause of the incident, everyone present began to look at Yi Yongfeng in a different way. If there was a personal enmity between Shu En and the Yi family, even if the Yi family was not justified, they would not be like this. But once you come into contact with an alien religion, you are a traitor. No matter how powerful the Yi family is or how big their family background is, they can't stop the Yu crowd. Foreign races and foreign religions, this is the hatred engraved in the bones. Beheading Yi Qingru and killing the saint of the Blood God sect, can I help you clean up the Yi family? Shu En strode forward, looked up at Yi Yongfeng. It's just that your Yi family didn't say a word of thanks. They even sent Yi Jingming the next day to kill him and silence him. After he failed to succeed, he secretly colluded with the Blood God sect to intercept and kill Jin Lincheng's escorts on the way. If it hadn't been for Senior Ji Yu Li, everyone in Jin Lincheng would have died. Even so, the Jin Lincheng guards cannot save even 1 out of 10. Can your Yi family recognize this bloody account? Shu An's words were full of anger. He pointed at Yi Yongfeng and shouted angrily. There is Yi Qingru in front of me, and Yi Jingming in the back. Now more than 100 people from the formation system have joined forces to deal with me, a new student. Can I think that your Yi family has secretly betrayed the human race and become the lackeys of the Blood God religion? Boom. After Shu En said these words, everyone's comments filled the sky, and an uproar broke out. Even Yi Yongfeng's expression changed drastically, and the killing intent in his eyes seemed to be real. You wanna die. As if he was filled with rage and furious, Yi Yongfeng suddenly decided to kill Shu Ange on the spot. He regretted that it was too late to take action. Guan Wenshan's aura had been locked on him. He did not want to break his face and wanted to save face for Guan Wenshan. Unexpectedly, Shu An's words were so sharp that he couldn't care less. You dare. Ji Yu Li, who had been watching quietly, suddenly changed his expression and shouted angrily. But his words had no effect. Yi Yongfang had already arrived in front of Xuan. At this time, Guan Wenshan's face in the sky darkened slightly. He just raised his palm and his breath filled the air, but suddenly his eyes moved slightly as he looked into the distance. Boy, remember in your next life that there are certain things you shouldn't say nonsense. Yi Yongfeng's voice full of murderous intent sounded, and his palm fell towards Xuan's Tianling. Under that terrifying pressure, Xuan couldn't even move a little finger and could only watch helplessly. However, when Yi Yongfeng's hand was only an inch away from Xuan's Tianling, it couldn't fall down. Yi Yongfeng raised his head in shock. Behind Xuan, a man wearing a green shirt appeared at some point. The man looked at Yi Yongfeng quietly and said calmly, "As the head of the department, I will personally deal with the new students in my perfect department." Chief Yi, you are so majestic. Boom. The moment he finished speaking, a sword light that penetrated heaven and earth appeared on the man in green shirt. The pressure around Yi Yongfeng instantly shattered into pieces. As the bright sword light passed by, Yi Yongfeng's body exploded like a cannonball. With the last loud noise, Yi Yongfeng was inlaid on the door of the perfect department. There was silence between heaven and earth, and there was no sound. Who is he? A murmur sounded like a dream. One of the instructors glanced at the man in green shirt, swallowed his saliva and said with a trembling voice, "The perfect elder brother, Lin Chengyuan. A perfect elder brother. He's just a student, how can he be so strong?" Everyone looked at the man in green shirt with shock on their faces. The one who was just beaten away was not some cat or dog, but the head of the formation department. With such a status, he is almost the most powerful person in the school except for the two principals. But now, facing a student from the perfect department, he can't stop even a single move. Most of the freshmen were puzzled, but some elders and tutors in the school were not surprised. No need to make a fuss, he is Lin Chengyuan. An old student of the school looked at the man in green shirt and said with respect, "Don't say it's just Yi Yongfeng. Even if everyone in the Yi family comes together, he won't be afraid." Back then, when Senior Lin first entered the academy, he was bullied by members of the Yang family, the top family in Daxia, and used his power to suppress others. Senior Lin beheaded 13 members of the Yang family in a fit of rage. In the end, even the head of the Yang family was alarmed. At that time, Senior Lin almost fell into a certain death ending. After saying this, everyone on the side hurriedly asked, "What happened next? What happened next?" The student looked hesitant. This incident was regarded as a shame by the Yang family back then, and he didn't know whether to say it or not. There's nothing that can't be said. The Yang family has all gone to the battlefield, so it doesn't matter even if they know. At this time, a mentor shook his head and recalled. When Lin Chengyuan fell into a certain death situation, it was the head of the perfect department who saved him. But the price was quite high. For this reason, the head of the perfect department left the school and stayed on the battlefield of all races for 5 years. In the past 5 years, Lin Chengyuan has risen at a jaw-dropping speed, and finally the year before last. His voice paused and he said with emotion, Lin Chengyuan, with one man and one sword, set foot on the ancestral land of the Yang family to avenge the shame of the past. The head of the Yang family appears, an elder of the Yang family is born, and many children of the Yang family gather in front of the door. Faced with Daxia's top aristocratic families coming out in full force, Lin Chengyuan only used one sword. That sword split the sky, cut off the Yang family's ancestral land, killed everyone who bullied him back then, and frightened the Yang family's courage. After saying this, he looked at the man in green shirt and said in admiration, "In the end, it was the great Sha territory lord who came forward to make peace and save the lives of the Yang family. However, the Yang family also paid a price for this. They moved out of Daxia City and went to the battlefield of all races. If the head of the perfect department does not return for a day, the Yang family will not be allowed to return to Daxia City." After the words fell, everyone looked at the man in green shirt in amazement. How powerful is one person to make an entire top family bow their head and admit their mistake? Since then, Lin Chengyuan has actually been able to graduate, but the head of the perfect department has never been in the school. So although Lin Chengyuan is a student, he acts as the head of the perfect department. Speaking of this, the instructor looked at Yi Yongfang inlaid in front of the gate. This time Chief Yi has hit an iron plate. Lin Chengyuan's experience makes him most disgusted with people who use power to bully others. There is a saying that has always been spread about the perfect system. If you fight in the same situation, you deserve to die. If the other party bullies you, no matter who the other party is, the perfect system will help you come forward. Everyone clicked their tongues when they heard this. These words were so crazy and arrogant. They finally understood why Ji Yuli, a commoner, was so unscrupulous and dared to ignore everyone. For a long time, there was such a big Buddha standing behind me. After thinking about this, everyone looked at Shuan with envy in their eyes. Since Lin Chengyuan showed up, it meant that he recognized Shuan's identity. In the future in Daxia, Shuan will no longer be someone who can be bullied. Above, seeing Lin Chengyuan appear, Chen Chuan and others also hurriedly left. This person is said to be a student, but his status on the battlefield is higher than them. Zhang Yuan, when did you come back? Guan Wenshan stepped forward and asked with a somewhat embarrassed smile. I heard that my perfect department is recruiting new students, so I came back to take a look. But now it seems that the school is still the same as before. It's okay if hundreds of people are besieging you. The leader of the line will also go down personally. Lin Chengyuan's sword spirit was soaring to the sky. His face was calm but coldly said. Bullying others with strength. That's fine. He looked at Ji Yuli and said in a cold voice. Ji Yuli, let me know which department is recruiting new students in the future. Department Chief Yi has already been punished personally. As a student of the academy, I am not breaking the rules if I take action. Ji Yuli, who had long been scared into a cold sweat, now also spoke angrily. Yes, senior brother. At this time, even if Guan Wenshan came forward, Lin Chengyuan did not give him any face. He came quickly today. If he had been a step slower, Shuan would really be dead. He and Shuan don't know each other, but this is related to the reputation of the perfect department. People came to take the assessment of your perfect department, but the department head of another department personally took action. You didn't even dare to say anything about your perfect department. What will others think in the future? But what makes Lin Chengyuan most angry is that Vice Principal Guan Wenshan is also there, actually sitting back and watching this happen. Seeing Lin Chengyuan's anger, everyone present fell silent. If it turns out to be what Lin Chengyuan said in the future, no department will be able to recruit anyone in the future. Don't be angry, blame me now, blame me. Hearing the resentment in Lin Chengyuan's words, Guan Wenshan smiled awkwardly. He really didn't expect that Yi Yongfang would dare to take action in front of so many people without losing his face. Ah, Lin Chengyuan, how dare you attack me? At this time, an angry roar sounded from a distance. Yi Yongfang, who was embedded in the door, broke free at this time, his face full of anger. In front of so many people, it was humiliating for a department head to be hung on the door in such a shameful way. If you don't find your place, how will you stay in school in the future? Lin Chengyuan, you have to give me an explanation for today's matter. The aura around Yi Yongfang exploded, and spiritual power as thick as the sea rose into the sky, stirring up the wind and clouds. Ji Yuli, who was not far from Yi Yongfang, was blown away. Shu An's expression changed as he looked at the powerful wave coming straight towards him. Before he could resist, Lin Chengyuan had already stepped in front of him, and the sea-like spiritual power was torn apart like fragile cloth. Give you an explanation. Lin Chengyuan, who was already angry, smiled. He held his right hand in the air, and a long sword completely condensed by the spiritual energy of heaven and earth appeared in his hand. The sword fell casually, and the monstrous sword energy tore through the sky and came directly in front of Yi Yongfang. Boom! Just like before, Yi Yongfang was blown away again. This wasn't the end yet. Lin Chengyuan threw up the spiritual sword in his hand, surrounded by the power of heaven and earth. This sword, with its majestic momentum, came to Yi Yongfang in an instant and fell hard. Boom! A huge deep pit appeared on the ground. Yi Yongfang vomited blood and fell into it, unable to move at all. Lin Chengyuan fell down in one step and came to the sky above Yi Yongfang. He stepped on the spiritual sword and looked down. Are you satisfied with this explanation? Seeing such a strong Lin Chengyuan, everyone present had their eyes twitching wildly. They have finally seen the tyranny of the perfect department. Although there are few people in this department, everyone is extremely tyrannical. Guan Wenshan and others were watching quietly at this time and did not step forward to stop him. They knew that Lin Chengyuan was trying to establish his authority. With Lin Chengyuan's current strength, he rarely returns to Daxia City. Now that he finally came back, he saw that the perfection department was being bullied so miserably. This is done for them to see. Let me go, let me go. It's too much to bully others. I'm going to seek justice from Territory Lord Shah. Yi Yongfeng's face turned red and he struggled desperately, but in the face of Lin Chengyuan's suppression, it didn't help. Ahem, Zhang Yuan, that's about right. He's also a department head after all. Seeing that it was almost done, Guan Wenshan stepped forward and coughed twice and said. Lin Chengyuan glanced at Guan Wenshan, but didn't say much this time. With a gentle wave of his hand, the spirit sword quietly dispersed. Okay, Lin Chengyuan, you are awesome, let's wait and see. After getting up, Yi Yongfeng didn't have the shame to stay here, so he said a few harsh words and was about to leave. I let you go, but Lin Chengyuan's light words made Yi Yongfeng stop unconsciously. How are you doing? Yi Yongfeng's face was as gloomy as water. Junior brother, Chief Yi personally broke the rules. What do you want? Lin Chengyuan turned to look at Shuan and asked. Require. Shuan was stunned for a moment, but when he saw Ji Yuli winking not far away, he immediately reacted and said. Senior brother, Chief Yi destroyed my formation base. Lin Chengyuan nodded. How many credits have been lost? Shuan raised his head and glanced at Yi Yongfeng, then at Lin Chengyuan, and finally said in a serious tone. 500 credits. As soon as these words came out, the corners of everyone's mouths twitched slightly. Everyone can see that Shuan's formation base is just a spiritual stone inscription, and it only costs 100 credits to survive. Shuan was better off. He asked for 500, which was 5 times the value. But who would have thought that after Shuan finished speaking, Ji Yuli coughed twice and said. Junior brother Shu, Mr. Yi's family has a great career and will not care about this loss. Although the materials of your formation base are not valuable, the inscription technique is extraordinary. Is 500 credits enough? Shuan blinked. He had already opened his mouth like a lion, but after listening to Ji Yuli's tone, he was going to lose it. Yi Yongfeng's face was gloomy and scary. He felt like a fat pig, waiting for someone to cut him. He wanted to refute, but when he saw Lin Chengyuan's calm eyes, he felt cold in his heart. Ahem, I remembered it wrong. Suddenly Shuan slapped his thigh and said. My formation base was engraved by a master, and it cost 1,000 credits. In addition to the material fees and so on, Department Chief Yi will just give you 1,500 credits. The corners of Yi Yongfeng's mouth twitched, and his eyes seemed to be murderous. But before he could speak, Shuan continued. Just now, Yi Shi grew up and showed off his power, which almost broke my martial arts heart and caused me great mental trauma. It doesn't need to be much. Department Chief Yi can just give you 1,000 points for mental loss. The total is 2,500 credits. Look at it, Director Yi. Saying that, Shuan took out his credit card and looked at Yi Yongfeng eagerly. This time, let alone other people, even Lin Chengyuan gave Shuan a strange look. With a fearless state of mind, you said that your martial arts heart was almost broken. This reason is too ridiculous. There are only 1,000 credits, no more. Yi Yongfeng said through gritted teeth as if he wanted to eat people. He knew that if he didn't bleed heavily today, he might not be able to leave. Senior brother, Shuan looked at Lin Chengyuan, who nodded and said. Give the Yi family some face. Shuan nodded in agreement, seemingly disappointed, but his heart almost jumped out of excitement. 1 credit is 20,000, 1,000 credits is 20 million. This business made a lot of money today. After Yi Yongfeng handed over the credits, he was about to turn around and leave, but who knew that Ji Yuli ran over in a hurry. Chief Yi, you haven't paid for this perfect door yet. Yi Yongfeng's temples were pounding and he gritted his teeth and said. That was typed by your senior brother, what does it have to do with me? Ji Yuli was surprised when he heard this. But it was you who was knocked away, it was your body that was hit. Yi Yongfeng finally spit out a mouthful of blood. But there was no way. Lin Chengyuan was by his side, so even if he was being blackmailed, he could only admit it. Say, how much? Ji Yuli raised 3 fingers with a smile. 300 credits. Get the card. Yi Yongfeng just wanted to leave quickly at this time, and was too lazy to care about why a broken door was so expensive. But who would have thought? Ji Yuli shook his head and said, it's not 300, it's 3,000 credits, Dean Yi. When Shuan heard this, he couldn't help but look at Ji Yuli with his mouth wide open. He thought that he had already opened his mouth like a lion, but he didn't expect that Ji Yuli was the master. A broken door and an open mouth are worth 3,000 credits. Awesome. Don't talk about him at this time. Everyone present covered their faces. Usually they complained that Ji Yuli was too ruthless in robbing their resources, but now they realized that Ji Yuli was still reserved in the past. At this time, even Lin Chengyuan couldn't help but look up at the sky, as if he didn't recognize Ji Yuli. 3,000 credits. Yi Yongfeng was completely angry. He looked at Ji Yuli in disbelief, his fingers trembling. A broken door wants me to have 3,000 credits, why don't you grab it? Ji Yuli didn't speak, just blinked. It seems that again, isn't he just robbing? Ahem. Ji Yuli coughed twice and said seriously. Director Yi, what you said is wrong. What do you mean by breaking the door? This is the face of my perfect department. It is the place that has witnessed the birth of countless perfect talents. My senior sisters and brothers and I all have feelings for this gate. Emotions. Do you understand emotions? Ji Yuli was heartbroken and said with a sad face. Can feelings be measured by credits? Not to mention 3,000, even 30,000 credits can't buy me the door to the perfect department. Shuan watched silently, giving Ji Yuli a thumbs up in his heart. Awesome. Delusion. I need 3,000 credits to break the door, which is impossible. Yi Yongfeng was furious and said through gritted teeth. Ji Yuli sighed regretfully after hearing this, looked at Lin Chengyuan and said. Senior brother, it seems that Chief Yi is really short of money, so we can't be aggressive. How about this? One day when I have free time, senior brother will take me to the ancestral land of the Yi family and smash the door of his Yi family. It's even. Yi Yongfeng's face froze, and Guan Wenshan and others' eyes twitched. If the door of the Yi family was smashed, it would be a shame. Lin Chengyuan smiled when he heard this. Very good. Lin Chengyuan's voice fell, and Yi Yongfeng's face turned completely ashen. Without any nonsense, he transferred 3,000 credits directly and left. Guan Wenshan and others are not surprised. As the top family in Daxia, the Yi family's face is extremely important. If Lin Chengyuan really comes to visit and smashes the door of the ancestral land, the loss of reputation cannot be bought with 3,000 credits. Yi Yongfeng suffered a big loss today. Not only did the Yi family's children lose more than 20 people, but they also had to face accountability from the family. Many people from the formation system also died, and the resources of the school will be greatly reduced. Coupled with the 4,000 credits given away in vain, Yi Yongfeng felt so uncomfortable that he wanted to vomit blood. But no one cared about Yi Yongfeng's thoughts at this time. Lin Chengyuan waved his hand and took Ji Yuli and Shuan away from the place. Everyone understood that since then, the perfect department has welcomed new students. Hey, with the protection of Senior Lin, Shuan will soar into the sky. More than that, the academy is protected by the perfection system, and when it comes to the battlefield, the Zhou family is also there. Brother, don't worry about that. We have an extra student from the perfect department this time. After the last sentence fell, many freshmen looked bitter. When Shuan joins the perfect department, all the new students come to stop him. This is considered a grudge in any case. It is conceivable that Shuan will never show mercy to them when it comes to grabbing credits in the future. With a look of despair, everyone gradually dispersed. Meanwhile, perfection lies within. Following a flash of light, Lin Chengyuan led Ji Yuli and Shuan to the top of a peak. Shuan looked around curiously. The perfect department is very large but has very few buildings. Apart from a few houses, there is a large area of open mountains. We have very few people in the perfect department, so we don't need so many buildings. Ji Yuli explained. However, some of the facilities that assist cultivation are much more complete than those of other departments. People in the perfection department are all cultivators, and since there are so few people, they have no other thoughts to do other things. Shu An nodded, then looked at Lin Changyuan, thanked him and said, "Thank you, senior brother Lin, for your help today." When Yi Yongfeng took action, Shu An was so frightened that he broke into a cold sweat. It would be too easy for such a strong man to kill him. If Lin Changyuan hadn't taken action, he would be dead today. It doesn't matter, Yi Yongfeng broke the rules. Lin Changyuan smiled, looked at Shu An and said, "There are not many people who are perfect, so we don't need to be so reserved. As long as I am reasonable, when I go out in the future, I don't need to worry about that much. If you can't beat them, call Ji Yuli. If Ji Yuli can't beat them, call your senior sister. In the end, there's nothing you can do. I'll come to your house to argue with them." There are very few perfect people, but because of this, the relationship between seniors and brothers is very good. Unlike people from other departments, there are too many students and they are all in conflict with each other. Although they are from the same department, there is not much friendship. Shu An, please remember. Shu An's heart warmed slightly when he heard this. Although it was difficult to join the perfect series, it was all worth it. "Senior brother, why do you have time to come back this time? Where's senior sister? Isn't she with you?" Ji Yuli, who had collected 3,000 credits in vain and was in a very good mood, asked with a smile. "Wu Yu, you are still on the battlefield. You have found an opportunity for a breakthrough. You are not coming back this time." When Ji Yuli heard this, he said in surprise, "Senior sister is about to break through." Lin Changyuan nodded, although the battlefield of all races is dangerous, there are many opportunities. As expected, I can break through and enter the divine realm this time. As he spoke, he frowned and looked at Ji Yuli. "Not ready to break through. You have been in the physical realm for a long time. Enter the spiritual realm as soon as possible and enter the battlefield of all races." Although Lin Changyuan was a senior in the perfect department, Ji Yuli was the one who led him, and he was both a teacher and a friend. "It's coming soon. In just a few days, we should be able to break through soon." Ji Yuli nodded vigorously and said affirmatively. In the past 2 days, his friend's damaged formation base was almost ready, and Shu An also successfully joined the perfect system. He wants to explore the secret realm, and this time he will break through no matter what. Practice quickly, your days of stability are numbered. Lin Changyuan sighed, a look of worry flashed in his eyes. "Senior brother, what happened on the battlefield?" Seeing this, Shu An's heart sank and he asked hurriedly. Others don't know, but he understands that the human race will face a big defeat in 3 years. This defeat led to the complete destruction of the human race 5 years later. The losses on the battlefield during this period have been considerable. Lin Changyuan nodded and said, "The Blood God clan, which has been in constant conflict with Daxia territory, has been extremely active during this period. Some time ago, the Blood God clan united with the Heavenly clan and launched a surprise attack on the Daxia territory. Daxia was defeated and suffered heavy losses." Ji Yuli was shocked when he heard this. The Heavenly clan has also come to an end. Among all the races in the starry sky, not all races are hostile to the human race. In the past, the opponents of the Great Sha region have always been the Blood God sect and other small races. But this time the Celestial clan actually intervened again. The Celestial clan is a race that is stronger than the Blood God clan in the ranking of all races. The two big clans joined forces, but Daxia territory couldn't stop them. This is also the purpose of my coming back this time. Lin Changyuan's eyes became solemn and he said, "In some time, people from the Blood God clan and the Celestial clan will come to the Great Sha territory. The battle ahead is defeated. The condition for the Blood God clan and the Celestial clan to retreat is to start a battle with the younger generation of the Great Sha region." Ji Yuli felt a little puzzled and said, "The two tribes are fighting, and the condition for retreating is just a competition. Isn't this a bit childish? A victory or defeat on the battlefield can easily result in the death of hundreds of thousands of people. If the Blood God clan and the Celestial clan do not retreat, the Great Sha region will inevitably pay a heavy price. But now, the Blood God clan and the Celestial clan are actually willing to retreat so easily. The territory lord and the generals also feel that there is something fishy." Lin Changyuan frowned and said, but in the hinterland of the human race, we can't imagine what the Blood God sect wants to do. In order to reduce losses, the territory lord can only agree to take it one step at a time and let some strong men come back to keep an eye on it. Ji Yuli and Lin Chengyuan both frowned and pondered, guessing what the Blood God clan was up to this time. But Shu An beside him had a look of horror in his eyes. Triggering the second major event, the tragedy of the school. The Blood God clan unites with the younger generation of the Celestial clan to challenge the students of Daxia Academy. During the competition, the Blood God cult sacrificed the Blood God Monument to open the Void Tunnel and attract many alien races to arrive. With mental arithmetic but not care, the 10,000 races school suffered heavy losses, tens of thousands of students were barely left alive, and the young generation in the Great Sha territory was almost disconnected. After this battle, Daxia territory gradually weakened until it fell apart. After looking through the memories in the sea of consciousness, Shu An's face turned pale and bloodless. How could a competition between all races at the cost of retreating be child's play? They actually want to wipe out the entire 10,000 races school in one go. Where is the Academy of 10,000 races? The cradle of the new generation in Great Sha, the main force that will conquer all races in the future, and all the talented geniuses in Great Sha were born here. If there is a problem in the 10,000 Races Academy, extremely terrifying problems will occur in Great Sha in the future. The strong one breaks. By that time, every strong man in Daxia will die, and there will be no more fresh blood injected into it. In this way, Daxia's demise is almost doomed. The Blood God clan made a good plan. Shu An looked solemn and murmured in his heart. Most of Daxia's strong men are on the battlefield. Although there are some powerful people in the hinterland, how can they stop the joint efforts of the Blood God clan and the Celestial clan? When the alien race opens the Void Tunnel and transports a large number of strong men directly from the battlefield, what will Daxia do to stop it? How to stop it? How can I destroy the Blood God clan's plan with such a weak cultivation level? Shu An was so anxious that sweat broke out on his forehead. Although he knew the future results, he could not tell anyone. But the problem is, even if he knew the Blood God cult's plan, how could he stop it? The key to the problem is the Void Tunnel transmission, relying on the Blood God clan's Blood God Monument. What is that? The memory only records the direction of events, but there is no specific explanation. At this time, Ji Yuli looked at Shu An and said in surprise. Shu An, why do you look so bad? Were you injured just now? Lin Chengyuan also looked over. It's okay. I thought of something else. Shu An forced a smile, then looked at Lin Chengyuan and asked. Senior brother Lin, do you know what the Blood God Monument is? Since the problem appears on the Blood God Monument, it is natural to start from here. Hey, that's good stuff. Before Lin Chengyuan could speak, Ji Yuli took the lead and said with a smile. The evolution of Blue Star has given rise to many secret realms and various rare treasures. In fact, it is the same in other worlds. The blood realm of the Blood God clan also experienced the evolution of Blue Star countless years ago, and also gave birth to some treasures. The Blood God Monument is one of them. At this time, Lin Chengyuan on the side nodded and said. The Blood God Monument is a rare heritage treasure of the Blood God clan. There are 3 in total. Each Blood God Monument has a legacy. This competition is for the new generation. The Blood God clan specially brought the physical realm Blood God Monument. Anyone who can survive the competition will have a chance to understand the Blood God Monument. Before Shu An could react, Ji Yuli said in surprise. Is the Blood God clan willing to let us understand the body realm Blood God Monument? The Blood God's immortal body, recorded on the Blood God Monument, is a good thing. In terms of physical realm, the Blood God clan is uniquely endowed. The Blood God clan, just like its name, has inexhaustible energy and blood, infinite strength, powerful defense, and amazing recovery power. The reason for this is, firstly, related to the physique of the Blood God clan, and secondly, the strength of this body-level Blood God Monument. Even among all the races in the world, the Blood God clan's immortal body of the Blood God is the most excellent foundation-building method. The Blood God sect is willing to use such a good thing in a competition. Shu An's expression remained unchanged and he reminded him from the side as much as possible. Of course not, Lin Chengyuan sneered. The Blood God's immortal body is very strong, but it is a technique unique to the Blood God clan. Even if outsiders gain enlightenment, they can't cultivate to perfection. Even among the Blood God clan's own people, very few people can cultivate into the immortal body of the Blood God. Shuan was puzzled. That's of no use to us humans. How could it be useless? Ji Yuli shook his head and explained, every change is inseparable from its sect. Stones from other mountains can attack jade. Even if you can't practice, you can use the Blood God's immortal body to develop techniques suitable for our human race. In the past, our human race had a great master who understood the immortal body of the Blood God and used it to create the Blood Sea technique, suitable for the human race. As he spoke, he looked at Shuan and said solemnly, although the Blood Sea technique is just a technique for understanding the immortal body of the Blood God, the power of this technique is already among the top ranks of Daxia physical realm cultivation. What I practice is the Blood Sea Kung Fu. My energy and blood surge all over my body. It is much stronger than ordinary Kung Fu techniques. The human race has only been practicing cultivation for a short period of time, and some of the secrets of cultivation techniques are far less powerful and rich than those from all races. However, the wisdom of the human race is very strong, and they can understand the skills of all races and use them for their own use. Now if I could comprehend the Blood God monument again, the strength of the Blood God technique might be even higher. Shuan nodded, but his brows were still furrowed. There is a skill on the Blood God monument, but what does this have to do with opening the void tunnel? Senior Brother Lin, are the 3 Blood God tablets of the Blood God clan just inscribed with martial arts? Shuan asked in confusion. Of course not. Lin Chengyuan smiled and explained. In addition to inheriting the skills, the Blood God monument is also a powerful rare treasure. The 3 Blood God monuments of the physical realm, the spiritual realm, and the divine realm can exert powerful power when combined. But only if the understanding is strong enough and can the 3 sacred monuments recognize their owners, then the power of the rare treasures can be unleashed. As he spoke, he said with a smile in his eyes. But since the Blood God clan obtained the Blood God monument, no one has been able to get the Blood God monument in the divine realm to recognize its owner, so they can only use the secret technique of combining the 2 divine monuments in the physical realm and the spiritual realm. Although the combined secret technique of the 2 sacred monuments is not weak, it can be easily broken by some powerful people. Lin Chengyuan's tone was full of laughter, and Ji Yuli also laughed. As a rare treasure inherited from the Blood God sect, it has never been able to fully understand it. This has to be said to be the incompetence of a race. But they didn't notice that Shuan's face turned completely pale at this time. Understood. The Blood God tablet in the divine realm must have been thoroughly understood by the vampires recently, and they have clearly understood the secret technique of combining the 3 God tablets. That is, void teleportation. It can break through the void and create passages, and it can accommodate the powerful auras of many powerful people. This secret technique is very powerful. Under unexpected circumstances, it was effortless to cut off the younger generation of Daxia territory. How to break this game? Shuan lowered his head and pondered. Countless thoughts arose in his mind, only to be rejected. He could probably guess that the void teleportation of the Blood God monument should be based on the coordinates of the monument itself. Otherwise, there is no need for the people of the Blood God clan to bring the body realm monument to the hinterland of Great Sha. The spiritual monument and the divine monument must be with the Blood God clan. There is no way to do this. That is to say, the only way to break through is from the body realm monument. As his thoughts straightened out, Shuan's eyes gradually brightened. Since the body realm monument can recognize its owner, can he give it a try? Although the Blood God monument is a rare treasure of the Blood God clan, even though this monument has been recognized as its owner. Although there are many impossibilities, he also has an unreasonable magical power. Incredible understanding. Shuan doesn't believe it. He can even understand the forbidden formation, but he still can't handle a Blood God monument. Senior Brother Lin, if you want to participate in the martial arts competition, what are the conditions? After figuring out how to break the situation, Shuan asked quickly. Now the only way to get in touch with the Blood God monument is to participate in the competition. This competition, the realm is limited to the physical realm, blood dissolution, bone forging, and body casting. Select 20 ginseng people from each realm to compete in a martial arts competition, regardless of life or death. Saying that, Lin Chengyuan looked at Ji Yu Ladao. If nothing else happens, people from the Blood God clan and the Celestial clan will arrive in half a month. Even if you find a suitable spiritual seed during this period of time, don't rush to make a breakthrough yet. With you here, there shouldn't be much problem in the casting realm. Although Ji Yu Li is only in the body casting realm now, his combat power is very strong. The ability to kill the Blood God sect Spirit Sea realm members and make them flee in all directions shows that their energy and blood are tyrannical. Lin Chengyuan is not too sure about students in the blood dissolving realm and bone forging realm, but he still has some confidence in the body casting realm. Half a month. Ji Yu Li pondered for a moment, then nodded and said, "The time is about the same. It will take a few days to obtain the spiritual seed during this period. If you want to make a breakthrough, it will take a month anyway." Just in time for the competition to end. Lin Chengyuan felt relieved after hearing this. There was no need to worry about Ji Yu Li in the casting realm. The remaining candidates for the blood dissolving realm and bone forging realm can be left to the 10,000 Races school. As the strongest school in Daxia, there are still many talented people with powerful combat capabilities. "Senior brother, why is there no body tempering realm? Can't I participate in the body tempering realm?" Shuan on the side listened and couldn't help but ask. His current cultivation level is the perfect body tempering. In the body tempering realm, he is not afraid of anyone. But when he reaches the hemolytic realm, he doesn't have much confidence anymore. Since people from the Blood God clan and the Celestial clan dare to come, the contestants must be carefully selected geniuses. Although he was confident, he was not so arrogant that he could fight against 20 alien blood-dissolving geniuses in the body tempering realm without using any formations. Physical tempering is just polishing before breaking through to the physical realm. It does not count as officially breaking through to the physical realm. Looking at Shuan, Lin Chengyuan chuckled and said, "The school is not as unbearable as you think. Such a competition does not require you freshmen to participate. What you need to do now is to practice with peace of mind and break through the hemolysis realm as soon as possible." Shuan smiled bitterly in his heart. If it was just a normal martial arts competition, he would certainly not be worried. But the purpose of the Blood God clan is not just to win the competition, but to wipe out all the schools of all races. Half a month. Shuan murmured in his heart that time was running out. He must break through the hemolytic realm within half a month and qualify for the competition. Otherwise, the 10,000 Races school will be destroyed, and Daxia will be severely damaged. Okay, the school doesn't know the news yet. I'll go discuss the specific details with the school. Don't run around during this period, and practice quietly in the school. After the explanation, Lin Chengyuan said hello and disappeared in a flash. Half a month, we have to hurry up. As soon as Lin Chengyuan left, Ji Yu Li couldn't wait to stand up. "Shuan, I'm going to see if the formation is complete. I'll prepare in the next 2 days and follow me to the secret realm. You first develop a technique to break through the blood-dissolving realm. When you enter the secret realm, the spiritual energy is rich and there are many monsters, which will greatly increase your cultivation level." Ji Yu Li hurriedly walked away while talking, and disappeared after a while. In an instant, Shuan himself was the only one left in the huge perfect system. This is really freeing. Shuan looked around and felt dumbfounded. Students in other departments have courses every day, and if they fail to complete the courses, credits will be deducted. It's better to be a perfect system. You have the final say in everything. First find a method to break through. Shuan pondered for a moment and opened the school's resource network. The physical state is divided into 3 levels: blood dissolution, bone forging, and body casting. Before entering the hemolytic realm, the main thing is to train your body and lay the foundation for breaking through the hemolytic realm. Because in the hemolytic state, the most important thing is to nourish qi and blood, making one's own qi and blood strong and vigorous, thus feeding oneself back and making one's body stronger. But if the body is not strong enough and the qi and blood are too strong, the body will be injured instead. This is the role of body tempering. Generally, if a body tempering warrior is too weak in the body tempering realm, he will not be too strong even if he enters the hemolysis realm. Because strong qi and blood will cause the body to be unable to withstand the flow of qi and blood, thus injuring the body. But this is no problem for Xuan. He is a perfect tempered body, and he has reached the extreme in this realm. Even if the blood and energy in the hemolytic realm are strong, he can still control it. At the same time, there is basically no bottleneck for the perfect tempered body to break through the hemolytic realm. As long as there is a suitable technique, the breakthrough is just a matter of course. Thinking like this, Xuan searched for a large number of blood-dissolving techniques. Thanks to the 1,000 credits on the credit card, he directly skipped some simple hemolytic realm techniques, down to the last level. Blood Evil Technique. The speed of melting the essence and blood of the alien race is excellent, which can make the energy and blood have a powerful evil spirit. Requirements. Level 9 of Tempered Body. Credits. 400. Blood Yuan Gong. The speed of melting the essence and blood of alien races is excellent. The energy and blood can be integrated with spiritual power, making it powerful. Requirements. Level 9 of Tempered Body. Credits. 400. Method of Blood Refining. The speed of molten alien essence and blood is excellent. The energy and blood are refined 9 times, the quality is extremely high, and the combat power is not bad. Requirements. Level 9 of Tempered Body. Credits. 400. Xuan secretly cursed at the lowest hemolysis realm technique. It's a good thing that he got 1,000 credits, otherwise he wouldn't be able to afford this blood-dissolving technique. However, there is a reason why it is expensive. The characteristics of these techniques are not a little bit more powerful than those simple techniques. Which one to pick? Xuan looked at the strongest skills and pondered. The strongest techniques in the hemolysis realm all have their own unique characteristics. I can't say which one is stronger or which one is weaker. It just depends on your own preferences. He has a perfectly tempered body and can master it quickly no matter which technique he practices. However, after much thought, he still chose the same skill as Ji Yu Li, the Blood Sea skill. Blood Sea Kung Fu. The speed of melting the essence and blood of the alien race is excellent, which can make the energy and blood surge continuously, making it the best in long-term combat. Requirements. Level 9 of Tempered Body. Credits. 400. Blood Sea Kung Fu. This technique does not have any powerful characteristics, the only thing is that the qi and blood are extremely rich. In terms of combat power increase, this technique is not as good as others, but when it comes to long-term combat, this technique beats other techniques. However, this is not the only reason why Xuan chose this technique. The Blood Sea Kung Fu was learned from the immortal body of the Blood God of the Blood God clan. That means that the Blood Sea technique and the Blood God's immortal body are from the same origin. Xuan's eyes shimmered and he murmured, "Then if you practice this technique, you shouldn't be repelled by the Blood God monument. If we can finally make the Blood God monument recognize its owner, then the Blood Sea skill will be completely transformed." The immortal body of the Blood God. Chapter 51. After choosing a good technique, Xuan placed the order without hesitation. Soon the Blood Sea Kung Fu was delivered to his door. In fact, Xuan didn't quite understand the specific breakthrough of the blood fusion realm at first. But the moment he opened the technique, a vague memory naturally emerged in his mind. Leading the sea of qi and blood to move along the circumference of the sky. Accepting essence and transforming it into qi, refining qi into blood, using your own essence and blood as a guide, penetrating bones and veins, nourishing the internal organs. With the understanding of the Blood Sea Kung Fu and the proficient experience in his memory, Xuan began to make a breakthrough. The thick qi and blood of the perfectly tempered body began to circulate along with the path of the Blood Sea technique. The power of qi and blood that was originally scattered seemed to have a direction at this time, and began to surge crazily in the meridians. Some tiny meridians were broken open in an instant, and even the thick meridians slowly opened under the powerful qi and blood of the perfect tempered body. Xuan sat with his eyes closed, and the qi and blood in his body began to boil gradually from being weak at first. At this time, even the outside world can see that the surging power of qi and blood flows through the meridians in a strange way. When all the meridians were connected and the qi and blood circulated for a long time, Xuan's body shook, and the majestic qi and blood burst out. If the qi and blood in the body tempering realm were just a small stream, then the qi and blood flowing now has transformed into a big river. It has been enhanced more than 3 times. Xuan clenched his fists, feeling the surging power of his physical strength, with a hint of joy in his eyes. This is just a breakthrough. If it reaches the later stage of the hemolytic realm, the strength will be even stronger. But the biggest gain this time is not strength, but strong blood. If compared with the original, the strength has only increased 3 times, then the strength of qi and blood is 10 times. The qi and blood of the perfectly tempered body were already strong, but now they have been strengthened tenfold, greatly enhancing Xu An's combat endurance. Not only that, strong qi and blood will lead to stronger recovery after injury, and the ability to withstand blows is far superior to that of the same level. This is the characteristic of blood Si Kung Fu. Although the increase in power is not much, the increase in qi and blood is too overwhelming. Just the blood Si technique can produce such strong qi and blood. How terrifying will the qi and blood of the blood god clan who practice the blood god's immortal body be? Thinking of this, Ben's joy of breakthrough disappeared, making Xu An take a breath of air. Fortunately, there are not many blood gods who can cultivate into the immortal body of the blood god, otherwise we will definitely lose this competition. The most powerful thing about the blood god clan is their strong qi and blood and their strong recovery power. This is fine in other realms, but in the physical realm, this is a completely unique advantage. If you are cultivating the immortal body of the blood god, you will be almost invincible in the physical realm. You have to practice hard. With such a level of cultivation, I'm afraid you will only get beaten. As the sense of crisis emerged in his heart, Xu An closed his eyes again and began to consolidate the realm he had just broken through. Hemolysis realm, this realm is blood transfusion. Use qi and blood to transform into essence fire, burning the blood vessels all over the body, burning impurities, and condensing the pure blood, from the outside to the inside, from the subtle to the deep. When every drop of blood is like molten gold and iron, removing the waste and retaining the essence, it is the Dzogchen state of blood dissolution. But when Xu An started practicing, he realized why the first sentence in every book describing the blood-dissolving realm exercises was the pros and cons of melting the essence and blood of aliens. Because qi and blood turn into essence fire, the consumption of qi and blood is terrible. Xu An has perfected his body tempering and practiced the blood Si Kung Fu. His energy and blood power are already very powerful. But even so, after practicing for half an hour, the energy and blood in his body began to lack stamina, and then completely dried up. If you want to continue practicing, it is easy to swallow the essence and blood of aliens and condense the essence fire to refine the blood and 5 internal organs. But if there is no alien essence and blood, the consumed qi and blood can only be slowly restored. When the qi and blood are sufficient, you can continue to practice. The poor in literature and the rich in martial arts. If you don't have money, you can't even practice. Xu An wanted to cry but had no tears. He finally understood why Ji Yuli was snatching credits from other departments like crazy. In a school, if you don't have money, your cultivation will be slow. If you don't have credits, you won't have resources. If you don't have resources, you will fall behind. When a warrior practices, he or she burns money. Credit, secret realm. After understanding this, Xu An's eyes turned blue. As a civilian, without a strong background, you can only rely on yourself. The only 2 ways to obtain resources in front of him now are credits and the secret realm that he will visit soon. We'll talk about the credits later. Let's go to the secret realm with Ji Yuli first. Ji Yuli once said at the beginning that the secret realm was very vast and there were countless treasures buried there. Then even if he takes the small head, he will still get a lot of resources, right? Thinking of this, Xu An looked into the distance with a look of expectation in his eyes. Brother, hurry up. The battlefield of the heavens. The strong and lingering smell of blood permeates the world, and the various strange landforms make it difficult to distinguish between fiction and reality. The relics and battle fluctuations left by the strong men of various races have set off countless energy storms. The overwhelming evil aura and the numbing murderous aura are everywhere. The battlefield of the heavens is a strange place that links countless interface spaces. There are desolate ruins, treasures left over from ancient times, and countless secret realms of opportunity, waiting for the arrival of the destined person. The powerful races from all planes in the heavens all have a place on the battlefield. Fighting for resources, fighting for ancient treasures, here, killing is the eternal theme song. In a corner of the battlefield, there is a place that is shrouded in a scarlet field all year round. This is the area controlled by the Blood God clan. In the past, the sky above the Blood God clan was always shrouded in scarlet blood, but today a deep black brilliance soared into the sky. As the light flashed, a large figure appeared in the void. These people have dark red skin with strange lines on their skin, and their blood is as strong as the sea. Just standing there is like facing a sea of blood. Ha ha ha, the combined secret technique of 3 Blood God tablets is actually so powerful. With a large-scale void teleportation, what can Daxia territory do to fight against me? Ha ha ha. A tall figure with dark red skin was laughing loudly, and the sea of energy and blood dyed the sky red. This is the general of the Blood God clan, the venerable Blood Flame. Gara, you have made a great contribution this time. Venerable Blood Flame patted the shoulder of the person next to him, with undisguised admiration on his face. Next to Venerable Blood Flame was a blood god who was not very tall. His skin is not that dark red, and there are not many strange lines on his body that symbolize the power of the Blood God clan. But what's amazing is his eyes. These eyes were as scarlet as blood, with strange and mysterious lines emerging from the pupils from time to time, blooming with brilliance. Facing those strange eyes, even Lord Blood Flame subconsciously avoided them and did not dare to look at them. All for the Blood God. Gaowu smiled softly, and a pair of blood-colored eyes swept across all directions. The blood gods who looked at him all lowered their heads. Seeing this, Venerable Blood Flame sighed in his heart. I'm afraid it won't be long before he has to bow his head when facing Gaowu. Gaowu is the most recent genius of the Blood God clan, a peerless genius. He was originally just an ordinary member of the Blood God clan. But not long ago, when Gaowu was fighting with the human race, he accidentally entered a forbidden place in the void. But he did not die, and after leaving the forbidden area, his bloodline returned to his ancestors and gave birth to a pair of blood god eyes. The blood god's eyes, those were the eyes of the blood god back then, possessing incredible power. Even if Gaoyu's qualifications are average, with these blood god eyes, he will be able to rank among the strongest men of all races in the future. Moreover, a few days ago, after Gaowu obtained the Blood God eyes, he clearly understood the Blood God monument of the divine realm that no one in the Blood God clan had ever understood. At this point, the owners of the 3 Blood God tablets have been recognized, which inspired the combined secret technique of void teleportation. Gaowu, you will lead the team to the human race's Great Shot territory this time, and you will also meet the strong men of the human race. Putting away what he was thinking, Lord Blood Flame said with a smile. Gaowu is a strong man in the divine realm and cannot participate in the competition, but it is good to go and experience it. Although the human race is very dangerous, they have a perfect plan this time. Even if there are many strong humans, they will still be defeated. No one on the side was surprised when they heard this. Everyone understood that this was the Venerable's deliberate cultivation. A strong man from the human race. Gaowu's eyes bloomed with brilliance, and the void was twisting and tearing. Under the light of the blood god, everything will turn into powder. Seeing the powerful power of the blood god eyes, everyone present was horrified. Even the stable void in the battlefield of the heavens can be torn apart. How strong is this power? Ha 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 ha, okay, our blood god clan will rise in this generation. Venerable Blood Flame laughed twice, waved his hand and said, the selected contestants will be listed. After the words fell, 60 new generation blood gods who only had the physical realm walked out. There are 20 people in the blood dissolving realm, 20 people in the bone forging realm, and 20 people in the body casting realm, a total of 60 people. Beside these new generation blood gods, there are many powerful clansmen protecting them. Yala, protect the body realm blood god monument. I will wait for news of your return after victory. Looking at the leader of these new generations, Venerable Blood Flame said. It's His Majesty. Yara nodded, with unparalleled confidence in her eyes. He is the master of this blood god monument in the body realm, and he has clearly understood some of the mysteries of the blood god's immortal body, and is very powerful. He is full of confidence in this competition. Okay, let's go, I'll wait for you to open the void teleportation. When everything was ready, Lord Blood Flame waved his hand. Although there is still half a month before the competition, the battlefield of the heavens is very far away from the Great Shot territory, so it is necessary to set off early. Sir, there is news from the blood god cult. Just as everyone was about to leave, a person from the Blood God clan hurriedly stepped forward. Blood God cult, what news? Venerable Blood Flame frowned and said impatiently. The Blood God cult was just a dog he raised in the human race. Although he had made many meritorious deeds, he never really cared about it. The most important thing now is to go to the Great Sha region. After the competition begins, the void teleportation will be launched to completely destroy the new generation of the Great Sha region. Your Majesty, the Blood God sect has discovered a secret realm in the Great Sha territory. But this secret realm can only be entered by creatures in the physical realm and spiritual realm. This secret realm is very large, and there are many powerful monsters in it. The spiritual realm and physical realm warriors of the Blood God sect cannot admit many people. The Blood God sect would like to ask if we should send some people over to occupy that secret realm. Everyone who was preparing to go to Daxia territory lit up when they heard this. The secret realm, this is a product that only appears when the plane advances. The Blood God realm has also experienced this, but after so many years, the Blood God realm has already advanced successfully, and it has been countless years since it has seen the secret realm. Especially these new generation Blood Gods, some of them have never even heard of the secret. Now they are going to Daxia territory. It would be perfect if they could search for a secret place. For a time, these new generation Blood Gods looked at Lord Blood Flame expectantly. Ha ha ha, go, of course you want to go. Venerable Blood Flame laughed and said, the secret realm is a product of heaven and earth. The human race cannot take it away, so let us do it. Go, I'm looking for 20 spirit realm and 30 body realm cubs to go and have fun in the Great Sha territory. As soon as the words fell, a group of new generation Blood God clan members cheered. At this time, a senior member of the Blood God clan frowned and said, Your Majesty, after all, this is the Great Sha territory of the human race. Wouldn't it be too risky for us to go there with so many people? If something unexpected happens. Before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Lord Blood Flame. Accident? What accident could happen? Venerable Blood Flame looked through the battlefield in the direction of the human race and sneered. Now that our Blood God clan and Celestial clan armies are pressing down on the territory, do you dare to make any move in the Great Sha territory? Not to mention just some physical and spiritual warriors, even if the people I sent are stronger, Daxia can only hold his nose and admit it. If their strong men dare to take action, the losses will be even more severe. As Venerable Blood Flame said, in today's Daxia region, if you want to avoid breaking up and starting a war, you can only acquiesce to this. This is also the reason why Lord Blood Flame dared to let a genius like Gaowu go to the hinterland of the human race. There is a large army pressing down on the territory outside, and there is a Blood God monument inside to protect it. The Blood God clan on this trip is already in an invincible position. Let's go out with confidence and search out the secret realm. The human race doesn't dare to say anything. As Venerable Blood Flame spoke, the team traveling this time became a bit stronger. After everyone said goodbye to Lord Blood Flame, they headed all the way towards the human race. Great Sha territory. Looking into the distance, Venerable Blood Flame's deep eyes flashed, and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. This time I'll break your spine. The battlefield of the heavens, the territory of the human race's Great Sha domain. At this time, there were many figures standing over the territory exuding a tyrannical aura. They looked at the Blood God clan people coming from a distance, with undisguised murderous intent in their eyes. Back off. Gaowu led the team, his scarlet eyes glowing with danger. The atmosphere was silent, and tension spread. But in the end, a helpless voice sounded from the void. Give way. With a sneer on his lips, Gaowu grandly led the Blood God clan into the human race's territory. At this time, two figures came from the human race and met the team head-on. The two are fighting, and neither one is willing to give way. The two humans, as if they had not seen these Blood Gods, strode forward, and the terrifying pressure made the world change color. Gaowu's expression changed slightly. He gritted his teeth and persisted, wanting to enter the human race with strength all the way. If it succeeds, the morale boost to the Blood God clan will be terrible. But obviously, the two humans on the opposite side didn't seem to be afraid of the so-called war at all. The leader, carrying such terrifying pressure that the void was shattering, strode forward. The aura full of killing and the sharp eyes seemed to be about to overthrow these blood gods in the next moment. Retreat. It seemed like 1,000 years, but finally cold sweat fell on Gaowu's forehead. Under that terrifying power, he chose to let everyone get out of the way. The two humans strode past the Blood God clan with extremely calm expressions on their faces. After passing through the path cleared by the Blood God clan, the leader spoke softly and asked, "Kanur, do you know what fearlessness is?" Zhou Kan's eyes radiated bright light, and the aura around him was quietly changing. After a while, he smiled and said, "I understand, uncle." Zhou Wuyuan nodded and continued moving forward with Zhou Kan. From beginning to end, he never set his sights on the Blood God clan. Gaowu looked at the tall and confident figure and suppressed the trembling of his heart. The god of war of Great Sha, Zhou Wuyuan. Second uncle, if the Blood God clan dares to step into the Daxia territory, why don't you just kill them? In front of Daxia Shangguan, Zhou Kan asked in confusion. He knows best what kind of person Zhou Wuyuan is. He hates evil as much as he hates it. If he is not from my race, his heart will be different. Anyone who is from a different race will be killed. But today, he watched the Blood God clan enter the human race. This was not Zhou Wuyuan's past style. Daxia suffered a defeat, and this is the price to be paid. Zhou Wuyuan's tone was calm, but his palms were clenched tightly. Although Daxia was defeated, according to his intention, it was a desperate fight. After hurting the Blood God clan and scaring away the Celestial clan, Daxia can be relieved once and for all. But Daxia did not have the final say alone. The territory lord and several generals voted and finally decided to reduce the losses and agreed to the Blood God clan's conditions. Cost. Zhou Kan was puzzled because he didn't know about the martial arts competition. It's a life and death battle for the new generation. If Daxia wins, he can understand the Blood God monument. The victory of the Blood God clan will allow the Blood God clan's physical realm clansmen to unconditionally enter the various secret realms of the academy to practice. After Zhou Wuyuan finished explaining briefly, his brows wrinkled unconsciously. There are many hidden secret realms in the 10,000 Races Academy. These are special secret realms that can greatly assist cultivation and make people stronger quickly. If the Blood God clan wins, a large number of Blood God clan will soon enter the school and seize the training resources that belong to the school personnel. Moreover, the opening of these secret realms requires a large amount of resources, all of which need to be borne by Daxia. If this competition fails, it will drag down the growth of the new generation of the school to a great extent. The price of victory is not equal, isn't it? If Daxia loses, it will require a lot of resources to open the secret realm, and it will also hinder the growth of the students. But the Blood God sect lost, and they just simply understood the Blood God monument. Isn't it true that only the Blood God clan can perfect the Blood God monument? Even if we win, we are just developing a top-notch physical technique. This is unfair. Zhou Kan's tone was a little angry. Unfair. Zhou Wuyuan smiled and shook his head when he heard this. This is the price of losing. How can it be fair? Kanur, you have to remember that fairness is based on strength. If there is no equivalent strength, fairness is just a joke. Zhou Kan has always been well protected, and Zhou Wuyuan's words today will give him a new understanding of the world. However, at this time, the figures of Ji Yuli and Shuan appeared in Zhou Kan's mind, and he couldn't help but smile. With that monster Ji Yuli here, the casting realm will definitely win. Shuan should have reached the hemolytic realm, right? Although he is not strong, his formation is terrifying, so he should be able to win. With the two of them here, the Blood God sect will definitely lose this competition. Zhou Kan has great confidence in the two of them. Ji Yuli's power was obvious to all. Although Shuan was at a much lower level, he secretly saw the power of Shuan's formation when he left the school. These two people are both rare geniuses. The Blood God sect is destined to lose. Zhou Wuyuan looked at the Blood God sect leaving in the distance and sighed. Never underestimate the power of a race. Those people are all carefully selected new generations of the Blood God clan, so how can they be weak? The leader of the Blood God clan's body realm just now is the one who recognizes the body realm divine monument. He has already comprehended some aspects of the Blood God's immortal body. In terms of hard power and strong blood, Ji Yuli is far behind him. Although it was just a quick glance, Zhou Wuyuan could see through everyone at a glance. No, Zhou Wuyuan frowned. Among those blood gods, there was one person he couldn't see through. As the bloodline back to the ancestors, Zhou Wuyuan murmured in his heart and frowned even more tightly. It seems that the blood god clan will soon produce a top talent. What? Second uncle is saying that Ji Yuli is no match. Not noticing anything strange about Zhou Wuyuan, Zhou Can said in disbelief. Zhou Can's talent is terrifying, and he knows this very well. But even so, he was so suppressed by Ji Yuli that he could not lift his head up, which showed how powerful Ji Yuli was. But now, will Ji Yuli be defeated by Tongjing? In a competition of hard power, Ji Yuli will certainly lose. Zhou Wuyuan nodded, but then a smile appeared on his lips and he said, "But that kid is also very strong. His state of mind should have broken through to the second level. It's hard to say whether the two will win or lose. If Ji Yuli wants to win, he has to pay a price." Zhou Can opened his mouth and was speechless. He had just touched the fearless state of mind, but Ji Yuli had already risen to another level. This gap made him a little frustrated. But at this moment, an embarrassed figure with confident eyes appeared in his mind. Mountains are not for looking up at, but for climbing over. Zhou Can's frustration was swept away. He raised his head and said with a smile, "It's fun to catch up like this." Zhou Wuyuan has been paying attention to the changes in Zhou Can's heart. When he saw the confidence in Zhou Can's eyes, he couldn't help laughing and said, "Why do I, the son of the Zhou family, give in so easily? Practice quickly." The secret realm of the gold casting furnace, that opens once a year in the battlefield of the heavens, will be opened in 5 months. At that time, there will be thousands of races and tens of thousands of foreign castling realm new generations arriving. That will be the beginning of true fame. Zhou Can's eyes flashed brightly when he heard this. After 2 years of decadence, he will let all races know in 5 months what a peerless talent the human race Zhou Can is. The entrance to the human race Daxia territory. After passing through the human defense barrier, Gaowu and others came to avoid crack that was tens of thousands of feet long. Is this the entrance to the human interface? The young blood gods looked at the deep and huge cracks curiously. The blood god clan also has such an interface entrance in the battlefield of the heavens. But the entrance of their blood god clan is much smaller than that of the human race. The human blue star is amazing. Seeing everyone's curiosity, Gaowu's blood-red eyes flashed and explained. Generally, the entrance to the plane of a race is only 1,000 feet in size. Only for very powerful races, the entrance to the plane will be huge. But there is something strange about Blue Star. The entrance to his plane is very vast as soon as it appears, and... His words paused, and there was something incomprehensible in his tone. There are 3 plane entrances to Blue Star. The human race divides the territory of the 3 plane entrances of Blue Star into 3 domains, namely Daxia Domain, Lintian Domain, and Spiritual Domain. The most important is, Gaowu's eyes showed a solemn look. Even though 3 plane entrances have been split, Blue Star's evolution has not yet been completed. When many young blood god clan members present heard this, their eyes showed horror. They originally thought that the blood god clan was defeating the human race, and the human race was no more than that. But now, after hearing Gaowu's explanation, they realized that it turned out that the human race had been blocking their army, but it was just a domain of the human race. There is also Blue Star in the human interface, a star that has not yet fully evolved, and it has split into 3 plane entrances. And there are so many secret realms in Blue Star. If it were completely evolved, how powerful would it be? Now do you understand why the Blood God clan keeps attacking the human race, and why other alien races are also eyeing the human race? Gaowu's tone was filled with emotion, and his eyes were staring at the entrance to the plane in front of him with fiery eyes. Because the Blue Star where humans survive is far beyond the interface of other races. Some ancient people speculate that when Blue Star completely evolves, countless terrifying inheritance secret realms will be born. As soon as these words came out, everyone present looked horrified. If that were true, wouldn't the human race have conquered all races? Rest assured, as if he knew what everyone was thinking, Gaowu chuckled and said, "The day Blue Star fully evolves will be the day when the human race is exterminated. What we need to do is to seize a Blue Star territory before Blue Star completely evolves. The Great Sha territory is our goal. After Gaowu's voice fell, everyone in the Blood God clan began to breathe heavily, and looked at the human interface with greed in their eyes. Most of the 10,000 races are hostile to the human race. They are not enmity with the human race, but they are coveting the human race's world. You are overthinking. The Blood God clan cannot destroy the human race even if it destroys them. While everyone in the Blood God clan was immersed in wonderful conjectures, a cold voice woke them up. He is a strong man of the human race. How could the Blood God clan not be watched by people when they entered the human race? Although most of the powerful men in Daxia territory are on the battlefield now, they will not let the Blood God clan run rampant on the human race. Oh, let's see. Gaowu sneered and led the Blood God clan into the entrance. Light flashed, and they had already stepped onto the land of the human race. Along with the visible towering mountains, they dance like dragons and snakes, entrenching themselves on the earth. The vast rivers with rippling blue waves are boundless and nourish all living things. Vast grasslands, green forests, and magnificent and picturesque mountains and rivers appeared before the eyes of the Blood God clan and others. The Blood God clan, who have always lived in the bloody world, have never seen such an environment. Everyone was stunned for a moment, and at the same time, the flames of plunder were burning in their hearts. The strong human being who had been supervising the Blood God clan was about to say something. But suddenly, countless bloody threads covered the sky. The blood threads crisscrossed and formed a large formation in the blink of an eye. As a bright light flashed by, the Blood God clan members who were still there disappeared. The strong man from the human race was shocked when he saw this, and his expression turned gloomy. Blood God cult. Yes, I didn't train you in vain. Gaowu, who came to an underground hall, looked at the man beside him and smiled with satisfaction. The man was dressed in black, his facial lines were as hard as iron, and his pair of deep eyes were like bottomless black holes, which made people's hearts tremble. This person is none other than the leader of the Blood God sect, Zan Yi. When all the gentlemen come, of course Zan Yi must receive them personally. Zan Yi squeezed out a smile on his somewhat stiff face. It can be seen that he is usually a very serious person, but when facing the Blood God clan, he still greets them with a smile. Zan Yi, I have been joining the Blood God clan for a few years. Gaowu sat in the main seat and asked casually. Sir, it's been 10 years. Zan Yi smiled stiffly. 10 years, in these 10 years, your hands have been stained with the blood of the human race. Can you not bear it? Gaowu looked at Zan Yi, with an expression that was half smiling. Zan Yi is a capable person. After joining the Blood God cult, he rose through the ranks and quickly reached the position of leader. Then they began to massacre the geniuses of the human race, destroying the stability of the human race's rear, and the Blood God sect was developing even more prosperously. However, such a capable person naturally needs to be beaten well in order to better serve the Blood God clan. Sir, I am already a member of the Blood God clan. Killing people is like slaughtering chickens and dogs. How can I not bear it? Zan Yi lowered his head and said respectfully, I heard that all of you are coming, so I had people prepare a lot of fresh talents from the human race. The blood of these humans is very delicious, just right for you adults to relieve their fatigue. As he spoke, he clapped his hands, and more than 100 unconscious young people were served like dishes. Ha ha ha, the human race is really a magical race. Gaowu laughed when he saw this, then patted Zan Yi on the shoulder and said, there will be plenty of opportunities to eat these desserts later, so it's important to get down to business first. Where is the address of the secret realm, and is it protected by a strong human being? Zan Yi's actions completely dispelled Gaowu's wariness. It is impossible for a person who feeds on his own race to return to the human race. Don't worry, sir, it's a secret place that has never been discovered. You can go there at any time. Zan Yi said with confidence. The Blood God sect has checked along the way and there are no strong human beings within 1,000 miles. Zan Yi's serious attitude made Gaowu even more satisfied. After returning to the Blood God clan this time, I will let the superiors officially reuse you. Zan Yi looked surprised, knelt down on one knee and said respectfully, I would like to serve the Blood God. Gaowu nodded, then looked at the people of the Blood God clan and said with a smile. Go, that secret realm is a gift from the Blood God to you. Excited laughter rang out, and everyone in the new generation of the Blood God clan went to the secret realm under the leadership of the Blood God cult followers. They are looking forward to seeing how many treasures are conceived in the secret realm of the human race. Daxia City, a school for all races. There is no more elixir. Xuan, who was practicing cross-legged, opened his eyes helplessly. Ji Yuli had been gone for 3 days and still hadn't come back, so he was practicing while waiting. When his cultivation energy and blood were insufficient, he bought some pills to assist in his cultivation. But who knew that this practice would be a bottomless pit? In less than 3 days, he spent 100 credits on the elixir. 100 credits, converted into money, is 2 million, which costs nearly 700,000 a day. If this keeps happening, Xuan will admit it, after all, he still has a lot of credits. But who knows, as the cultivation level deepens, the consumption of energy and blood begins to increase exponentially. He calculated that if he continued to practice, he would not be able to last even a week with the remaining 500 credits. Maid, who can withstand this speed of burning money? I thought 1,000 credits was a lot, but I'm almost gone without practicing much. Xuan had a look of pain on his face and stopped practicing. We are about to go to the secret realm, and even if our qi and blood are thicker, there will be no qualitative change. In this case, it is better to choose a combat skill to enhance your combat power. Thinking of this, Xuan opened the resource website and searched for physical combat skills. Now he is also a warrior in the blood dissolution realm, and can practice many combat skills. Spirit snake wraps its neck. Wraps the knife around itself to protect the body while cutting or strangling the enemy in front of it, using softness and strength. Credits: 200. White tiger leaping stream. The footwork is wide open and wide, and the momentum is concentrated within 7 steps. The momentum is like a tiger descending a mountain, unstoppable. Credits: 300. Xuan was also dazzled by the variety of physical combat skills. But after thinking deeply, he decided to choose a footwork combat skill. The secret realm that Ji Yuli had to prepare for a long time must be full of dangers, so life-saving was naturally the first priority. After browsing through a large number of footwork and combat skills, Xuan's eyes lit up when he saw a familiar combat skill. Wandering Dragon Step. Footwork combat skill, invincible in short-range maneuvers, not good at long-distance escaping and pursuit. Combat skill requirements. Proficient in the instant combat skill. Credits: 500. Xuan has personally experienced the power of instant combat skills, but such powerful instant combat skills are just the basis of Wandering Dragon Step. It can be seen that among footwork and combat skills, Yulongbu is definitely one of the top ones. Moreover, because he has a terrifying fighting consciousness, he will be very comfortable practicing this combat skill and can master it quickly. It's just you. Gritting his teeth, Xuan placed an order for Yulongbu with the last credits. It didn't take long before Yulongbu was sent to the perfect system. But just as Xuan looked at it briefly and prepared to practice, a fiery figure appeared. Xuan, it's done, let's set off. Hearing the excited voice, Xuan's face showed a hint of joy. Secret realm, here I come. Brother, you are finally here. Seeing Ji Yuli rushing in, Xuan stood up in surprise. Now he doesn't have any credits, and he can't practice even if he wants to. Fortunately, he finally waited for Ji Yuli. Hey, don't mention it. In order to make the formation more powerful, we have strengthened all the bases of the formation. I spent 2,000 credits on this. Ji Yuli pulled Xuan out and said with pain in his body as he walked. Those fool instructors in the formation system are all vampires. Let them strengthen the formation base, and they actually want so many credits from me. Having said that, Ji Yuli's tone was full of joy. Now that he is poor, all he has left is money. As long as he can get the spiritual seed, it will all be worth it. How many? 2,000 credits. Xuan's eyes widened when he heard this, and he looked like he was about to vomit blood. Look for me. Just give me 1,000 credits. The formation base is strengthened. For Xuan, this is just a casual thing. There is a ready-made formation base, and the formation patterns on the formation base are all engraved. As long as it is covered with a layer of reinforced formation patterns on this basis, it is complete. Such a simple thing actually cost 2,000 credits. At this time, Xuan's eyes were blue. He was really poor. He was so poor that he could only understand the formation. Looking for you, Ji Yuli said speechlessly. Brother, that formation base is for the peak level of the spiritual realm. This is a familiar tutor that my friend found. Otherwise, do you think you can get 2,000 credits? Those instructors who can strengthen the formation patterns of the formation are priced at a sky-high price every time. This is already considered cheap. Shuan looked at the sky speechlessly. The formation base at the peak level of the spiritual realm was nothing. With the materials, he can create all the forbidden formations. The 2,000 credits Ji Yuli spent were more uncomfortable than losing the money. But then he thought about it, and Shuan's eyes brightened slightly. Is strengthening the formation base so profitable? Then can he develop business in this area in the future? A set of formation bases at the peak level of the spiritual realm requires 2,000 credits to strengthen one set, so is it not an exaggeration for him to charge 1,500 credits? This is a good way to make money. Shuan's eyes widened and he licked his lips. At this time, the instructors of the formation system did not know that it might not be long before the formation system would usher in a volume king. As the conversation continued, Ji Yuli and Shuan quickly arrived at the entrance of the school. At the door, a woman was waiting quietly. The woman is wearing an elegant white embroidered skirt, her hair is rolled up casually, and under a pair of willow leaf eyebrows, there is a pair of watery eyes. When he saw Ji Yuli, his eyes lit up slightly. Shangguan Ruonan, Spiritual Sea Realm. Arriving in front of the woman, Ji Yuli introduced her casually, then looked at the woman and shrugged. Shuan, my junior brother, no introduction is needed, right? Upon hearing this, Shangguan Ruonan chuckled and said, the blood flowed like a river when I first entered school. Junior brother Shu's name is like thunder in my ears. During this period of time, Shuan was known to everyone in the school. After all, Shuan was the first to go on a killing spree since the establishment of the academy. I met senior sister, it was just the situation forcing me. Shuan smiled awkwardly, he didn't expect that he was so famous. Okay, don't be humble, let's go to the secret realm quickly. I've had enough of staying in this body casting realm. After a brief introduction, Ji Yuli led the two of them straight to the teleportation array in the city. We could have broken through a long time ago, but we have to ask for trouble. Shangguan Ruonan curled his lips when he heard this and murmured softly. Ji Yuli in front twitched the corner of his mouth and walked faster. Senior brother, can you break through already? Doesn't he have the right spiritual seed? Shuan, who didn't know why, asked strangely. I said I would give him a flawless spiritual seed, but he refused. Speaking of this matter, Shangguan Ruonan looked at Ji Yuli's back with some resentment in his eyes. Shuan's eyelids twitched and he opened his mouth, speechless. During this time, he also briefly took a look at the realm behind him. The quality of the spiritual seeds was directly related to the strength of his future combat power. Spiritual seeds are generally divided into 4 levels: low grade, medium grade, high grade, and top grade. After reaching the top level, the spiritual seed will enter the next level, flawless. Only spiritual seeds without any flaws or flaws can be named flawless. Such spiritual seeds can no longer be called scarce, and are basically not sold in the market. Whenever it appears, it is truly a sky-high price. Shuan didn't expect that the soft and weak senior sister next to him could actually give away the flawless spiritual seed. Senior brother, senior sister has your heart, but you actually refused. Shuan looked strange and raised his eyebrows at Ji Yuli. He could tell that the senior sister next to him was probably Ji Yuli's love debt. Go away, I can't repay the favor of a flawless spirit species even if you sell it. Ji Yuli's mouth twitched, feeling helpless. He also understood what Shangguan Ruonan was thinking, but before he could avenge himself, he just wanted to practice cultivation and had no other thoughts. Even if he dies on the road to revenge, he will be just a loner and will not leave any regrets. But if you agree to someone else but die, will Ruonan be left a widow? Thinking of that possibility, Ji Yuli felt a sudden pain in his heart, and those thoughts that shouldn't have arisen suddenly disappeared. Shangguan Ruonan's eyes dimmed when he saw this, and he didn't say anything, but he still followed Ji Yuli firmly. What race is the enemy that puts Ji Yuli under so much pressure? Shuan frowned, then shook his head. His current strength is still too weak, even if he knew it, he wouldn't be able to help much. What we need to do now is to quickly improve our strength. Silently all the way, the three of them quickly arrived at the teleportation array in the city. A flash of light flashed past the three of them and disappeared. And at the moment when the three people disappeared, a sneaky figure appeared from the darkness and came to the teleportation array manager. Give me the coordinates those three people just transmitted. Are you kidding me? The coordinates must be kept secret. Do you think anyone can see them? The figure did not speak, but took out a token from his arms. The manager was shocked when he saw this, and then quickly wrote down the coordinates that Ji Yuli and the others had just transmitted. If it were an ordinary person, managers would certainly not give out coordinates easily. But he could see the token clearly. There was a big character engraved on it, Yi. Daxia, a school of all races. Because of the arrival of the Blood God clan, all the powerful people that Daxia could handle at this time gathered at the Academy of 10,000 Races. However, everyone at this time looked unhappy, and a depressing atmosphere enveloped the entire room. Blood God cult. I didn't expect them to take advantage of this loophole. The commander of the Daxia city guards looked cold at this moment and slapped his palm on the table. The Blood God clan came to the human race, but unexpectedly they were led by the Blood God sect and disappeared. These are not kind guests. If they mess around in the human race, it will be troublesome. I don't blame others. It's actually because all the strong men in Daxia have rushed to the battlefield, resulting in an emptiness in the territory, which allowed the Blood God clan to take advantage of the loophole. Guan Wenshan frowned and said, the inspection department, city guards, and people from various aristocratic families have all sent people to look for him. Quietly wait for the news, we should be able to investigate it soon. The Blood God sect has been hiding in Daxia for many years, but in the past there were many powerful people around, and this alien sect could not make any waves. However, the defeat of the 10,000 clans on the battlefield, and the Blood God clan's alliance with the Heavenly clan, caused Daxia to mobilize too many strong men, so that the secret foreign sects began to jump out. But even so, reinforcements cannot be added to the battlefield ahead. Who knows whether this will divert the tiger away from the mountain. There is trouble in the territory, but the disease is ringworm and scabies, which can be suppressed with a little effort. But if the frontline battlefield collapses, there will be big trouble. Therefore, they can only wait and wait for the news to come. As time passed, the atmosphere in the room became more depressed. Suddenly, Yi Yongfeng raised his eyebrows and revealed a sneer at the corner of his mouth. No one noticed anything strange about Yi Yongfeng, so they all waited quietly. About an hour later, the city guard commander received the summons and stood up suddenly. Found it. These idiots seem to have found a hidden secret place thousands of miles away, and they are sending people there. As soon as these words came out, everyone stood up suddenly, with strong murderous intent in their eyes. Is the secret realm of the human race accessible to the blood gods whenever they want? Without hesitation, some strong people stayed behind in the school, while other strong people went straight to the coordinates of the secret realm. But at this time, Yi Yongfeng frowned. Thousands of miles away. Did that kid also go to that place? Thinking of this, Yi Yongfeng stood up and looked at Guan Wenshan and said, Principal Guan, I'll go with you, just in case the Blood God clan plays any tricks. Guan Wenshan nodded without doubting his presence. But Lin Chengyuan, who was sitting with his eyes closed, now opened his eyes and looked into the distance. Others didn't know it clearly, but he understood that during this period, Ji Yuli was preparing for the next secret place, which was also thousands of miles away from Daxia City. He knew about the departure of Shuan and Ji Yuli. The secret realm that the Blood God sect went to should also be that place. Yi Yongfeng is such a timid person that he took the initiative to ask to go. Lin Chengyuan sighed, and after thinking about it for a moment, he understood the matter. My two junior brothers are in the secret realm. Yi Yongfeng should have sent someone secretly. Lin Chengyuan's whole body was surrounded by traces of sword intent. He looked at Guan Wenshan and asked. The Yi family can't move yet. Yi Yongfeng's repeated attacks have made Lin Chengyuan murderous. Guan Wenshan frowned and said firmly, it's not possible now. The big fish hasn't taken the bait yet. It would be a pity to pull out the Yi family now. Waiting, now all the powerful people in Daxia have come out, the territory is empty, and there are still people who haven't jumped out. Lin Chengyuan suppressed the murderous intention in his heart, waved his hands irritably and said, I hope your stupid plan is right. As soon as the words fell, a sword light pierced the sky, and Lin Chengyuan disappeared on the spot. Looking at Lin Chengyuan's leaving figure, Guan Wenshan stood quietly for a long time before he chuckled. Don't worry, the plan is a bit stupid, but it will definitely succeed. Daxia territory, in a dense forest wilderness. Because of the evolution of the stars, the blue star area has skyrocketed, and the rich spiritual energy has caused all kinds of plants to grow crazily. What can be seen everywhere in Blue Star are the extremely thick dense forest mountains. At this time, Shuan and the other three crashed into a dense forest in a mountain range and advanced rapidly towards the depths. But as he walked, Ji Yuli frowned. Something's not right, someone has been here. Shuan and Shangguan Ruonan also discovered something strange at this time. Along the way, they could see trees and shrubs that had been destroyed by humans from time to time. A simple but visible road leads deep into the mountains. Obviously, this is the trace of someone passing through, not just one person. Let's change the direction of travel so we don't get discovered. Ji Yuli took the lead, followed by Shuan and others. Although the secret realm was discovered, Ji Yuli was not too anxious. There is extremely strong suppression in the secret realm, and the monsters inside are very powerful. Even if the secret realm is discovered, it doesn't mean that anything can be taken away. Senior brother, are those monsters you mentioned considered aliens? On the way forward, Shuan asked curiously. He also went to the secret realm once, but that secret realm was very small and contained nothing except the formation monument. Monster beasts are not considered aliens because they have no intelligence. Ji Yuli said while walking. Aura is effective on humans, but after monsters absorb it, they will go completely crazy, as if the aura is poisonous to them. However, these monsters are very powerful. Their powerful bodies make their power far beyond that of humans. As he said that, he looked at Shuan and said with a smile. Of course, if you encounter a smart monster, you will find a treasure. Smart monsters are alien species. If you can tame them, it will be a great help. Think about how majestic it would be to ride a strange eagle. Shuan was amazed when he heard this. As far as he knew, no living beings existed in other racial planes except his own race. But Blue Star is just the opposite. There are a lot of various ethnic groups, and I don't know how they were formed. Fortunately, 99% of these monsters have no intelligence, otherwise Blue Star might not necessarily have the final say. But if you can really tame a smart monster, it would be really exciting to think about it. Don't listen to your senior brother's nonsense. Shangguan Ruonan rolled his eyes at Ji Yuli when he heard this, and then said. When you encounter intelligent monsters, turn around and run away. Those monsters hate humans very much. You don't even dare to ask for the spiritual seeds I gave you. How dare you want to tame a monster? Saying that, Shangguan Ruonan muttered again. Ji Yuli-san laughed twice and did not dare to answer the question. He quickly turned to look at Shuan and asked. Have you broken through the Hemolytic realm? Shuan, who was thinking wildly, nodded. Well, I just broke through 2 days ago. Ji Yuli praised the words and said. You're lucky, kid. These demonic beast essences and blood are precious medicine for the solution realm. If you are lucky, this trip to the secret realm will help you achieve the great perfection in the blood-dissolving realm. Shuan looked up, his eyes full of joy. There are no bottlenecks in the Hemolytic realm. As long as you have enough energy and blood and enough resources, you can quickly become stronger. Now he is so poor that he doesn't have a penny. Now if he meets someone who doesn't have any money, he will definitely eat it up. While a few people were talking, the dense forest in front of them suddenly became empty, and bright light shone in. Shuan looked intently and saw that in the center of the dense forest, there was a whirlpool-like portal more than 3 meters high, emitting glittering light. Although he hasn't entered yet, the rich spiritual energy has already escaped from the portal, filling the world like mist. The 3 of them looked happy when they saw this, and without hesitation, they rushed into the secret realm. But just after entering the secret realm, before a few people could take a closer look, several angry shouts suddenly sounded. Kill them! They are not the adults of the Blood God clan. Shuan, Ji Yuli, and Shangguan Ruonan's expressions changed instantly when they heard this. Are there people from the Blood God clan in this secret realm? The sudden murderous intent and angry shouts caused the expressions of Shuan and the three of them to change instantly. There were actually more than a dozen heretics from the Blood God sect at the entrance to this secret realm. Without any time to think about it, Ji Yuli reacted the moment the shouts of death rang out. Boom! The majestic energy and blood soared into the sky, and a simple bow was held in his hand. The bow is like a full moon, and the arrows condensed with chi and blood blast away like meteors. Although Shangguan Ruonin on the side looked weak, at this critical moment, his eyebrows stood up and he reacted very quickly. The green frost sword in his hand was filled with bright spiritual power. With one strike of the sword energy went straight towards the heretics like a crescent moon. Boom! Kai! The battle was almost over as soon as it started, because it was a one-sided massacre. Whether it is Ji Yuli or Shangguan Ruonin, they are both top talents. Although the pagans are large in number, they are far behind in terms of combat power. In just a minute or two, all the pagans had their heads removed. However, at this time, there was no joy on the faces of the three people, but their brows were furrowed. These are just miscellaneous fish exploring the path. The guys from the Blood God clan are really difficult to deal with. Mater, why are you so unlucky to meet someone from the Blood God clan? Ji Yuli rubbed his eyebrows and cursed in a low voice. It was only a matter of time before someone discovered this secret realm, and Ji Yuli also understood. But he didn't expect that people from the Blood God cult discovered it first and attracted the Blood God clan here. This time, there are only 3 of them. If the exit is blocked by the Blood God clan, it will be troublesome. Don't worry, the people from the Blood God clan should be here to participate in the competition. If they dare to come to the secret realm, they will definitely not be able to hide it from the eyes of the human race. We just need to be careful not to encounter them in the secret realm. After Shangguan Ruonin finished his rational analysis, Ji Yuli's face improved a lot. Then let's go first and get the spiritual seed. After Ji Yuli finished speaking, he couldn't help but frown and said, I'm afraid that when we take the spiritual seeds, the Blood God clan will cause trouble, which will cause trouble. Spiritual seeds are born and will emit rich and pure spiritual energy, which will cause a large number of monsters to gather. If a fight breaks out, the noise will definitely be huge, and it is basically impossible to hide it from the Blood God clan. Senior brother, we came in first. We are worried about the Blood God clan. Ji Yuli and Shangguan Ruonin were stunned when they heard this and looked at Shuan. The Blood Gods are not heretics. Those people are very difficult to deal with, and there must be a lot of them. There are only 3 of them, so they have little chance of winning. Sister, your formation is a killing formation, right? Shuan did not explain, but looked at Shangguan Ruonin and asked. Yes, the 9 Palaces sword formation can explode with power at the peak level of the spiritual realm. However, the suppression in this secret realm is a bit strong. I can only use my cultivation in the spiritual realm, so the power should be much smaller. Shangguan Ruonin nodded, and then moved his body uncomfortably. Her realm is the spiritual sea realm, but the suppression of this secret realm is very strong, and she can only exert her power to enter and exit the spiritual level. In this way, the power of the formation will definitely be affected. It doesn't matter, we are not the only ones being suppressed. Shuan smiled, and then looked at the entrance of the secret realm with evil intentions. Sister, you can place the formation at the entrance of the secret realm, and when the Blood God clan arrives, give them a hard blow. The Blood God clan is getting stronger, and they have to vomit blood when facing the killing array at the peak level of the spiritual realm. As soon as these words came out, Ji Yuli and Shangguan Ruonin's eyes lit up. The Blood God clan is very strong and has many people, but they have formations. With mental calculations and unintentional calculations, the Blood God clan can definitely be severely damaged. Hey, junior brother Meow. Ji Yuli's eyes were bright and he smiled sadly. Kill a group of them first, then attract some monsters and let the monsters block the entrance. Let the blood gods and monster beasts bite dogs, we took the spiritual seeds and have fun with them. In the dark laughter of Ji Yuli and Shuan, they began to formulate a careful plan to trick the Blood God clan. It's a pity. It would be better if it was poisonous. When the poisonous smoke is released, will the Blood God clan die cleanly? Hey, what a coincidence, I came back to the secret realm last time and I still have some ecstasy pill left. Even the monsters can't withstand this stuff. Senior brother Zizhen is so strong. Do you have any other treasures? Yes. There are also 2 incense sticks specially designed to attract monsters, which can attract monsters within a radius of 50 miles. Oh, there is something in the alchemy department. I should study it carefully in the future. Ji Yuli and Shuan were discussing happily. Shanggong Ruonan next to him was frightened and his eyelids jumped. After all, they are from the same department, and their methods of deceiving people are more ruthless than the last. Before the Blood God clan came, Shangguan Ruonan had already mourned for them in his heart for 3 minutes. In this suppressed secret realm, no matter how many people the Blood God clan has, they will still suffer heavy losses. After a short time, Ji Yuli and Shuan stood up and began to arrange the surroundings. Shanggong Ruonan was not idle either. He secretly arranged a complete killing array at the entrance of the secret realm. As long as someone entered, the array would be triggered immediately. Half an hour later, Ji Yuli, Shuan, and Shangguan Ruonan were quietly hiding behind a large rock 100 meters away from the entrance to the secret realm. Hey, how many people from the Blood God clan do you think will come? Ji Yuli's eyes were filled with excitement, and he glanced at the entrance from time to time. It's hard to say, but since we are here to participate in the competition, that person should be indispensable. Shuan touched his chin and guessed. Then tell me, will the Blood God clan be wiped out by us before the martial arts competition begins? Hiss, it's very possible. If this happens, how many credits will we be given? After the words fell, the 2 people's evil laughter sounded. The corner of Shangguan Ruonan's mouth twitched slightly. No matter how he looked at it, he felt that the 2 people next to him were the villains. At the same time, deep in the mountains, a dozen people flew into the air and landed at the entrance to the secret realm. However, these people were not from the Blood God clan as Shuan and the others had guessed, but from the Yi family. Haha, there is a secret place. It's finally time for our brothers to get rich. The first person couldn't help laughing when he saw the entrance to the secret realm. They originally came to hunt down Shuan, but they didn't expect that there was a secret realm in this place. Hehe, Shuan is really lucky. He actually found another secret place. Ha ha ha. You're wrong, brother, it's our fate, everything in this secret realm belongs to us. Haha, let's go, brothers, the wealth is waiting for me. Everyone in the Yi family was full of joy and high spirits at this time. In their opinion, Shuan is just a piece of cake. They have more than a dozen spiritual realm experts, but they still can't get a physical realm. But looking at it now, Shuan is of secondary importance. The secret realm in front of him is a big treasure. Getting a little bit of treasure is a resource they won't be able to earn in a few years. Thinking of this, everyone in the Yi family looked excited and rushed to the entrance of the secret realm. As the brilliance flashed, an extremely rich spiritual power rushed towards his face. Ha ha ha, the leader of the Yi family laughed out loud, but before they could say anything, the sword energy in the sky enveloped all directions. Boom, the moment everyone stepped into the secret realm, a series of sword energy intertwined in the sky, underground, front, back, left, and right, and dense sword energy strangled them. The surrounding spiritual energy was boiling, and everyone in the Yi family didn't even react quickly. Severe pain spread all over their bodies. Just in the blink of an eye, more than a dozen spiritual realm experts from the Yi family were already lying on the ground before they had a good look at the secret realm. There was silence between heaven and earth. Only the whistling sword energy was still making a whimpering scream. Behind the big rock 100 meters away, Ji Yuli, Shuan, and Shangguan Ruonan all stood up in confusion. What about the Blood God clan that we talked about? Did we kill the wrong person? Looking at the corpses on the ground, Shangguan Ruonan said a little at a loss. That's right, these are a bunch of fools from the Yi family. The sharp-eyed Ji Yuli saw the familiar Yi family token, which was something every family member would carry when going out. At first he thought he had killed the wrong person, but since it was the Yi family, it was okay. The more people in the Yi family die, the better. Why are people from the Yi family here? Did they also discover this secret place accidentally? Shangguan Ruonan guessed with some suspicion. What a coincidence. Shuan frowned and looked at the corpses with cold eyes. This place is so secretive. It's not easy to find it without specific coordinates. These Yi family members should be here for me. Shangguan Ruonen's face suddenly changed when he heard this. Everyone knew about the grievances between Shuan and the Yi family. When they came out this time, they must have been targeted by someone with intentions. This Yi family has gone too far. The direct descendant of the family, the Blood God sect, has not yet given an explanation, and now he is secretly killing the genius of the clan. Don't the people above care about it? Shangguan Ruonen looked angry. It was okay for the Yi family to be tyrannical in the formation system. Now they are acting even more unscrupulously. Hey. Ji Yuli smiled when he heard this, but didn't say much. Shuan on the side looked thoughtful when he saw this. It seemed that the Yi family was not as simple as he thought. Fortunately, I just activated the formation. The demon summoning incense and the ecstasy pill are not used yet. The Blood God clan will come soon, and it will be enough for them to drink a pot. Ji Yuli said while greeting Shuan. Clean up the scene and don't let those people from the Blood God clan discover it in advance. Ji Yuli and Shuan finished cleaning the battlefield briefly, and found some extra things around them. Formation flags, formation discs, and other things used to set up the formation. Most of the people in the Yi family graduated from the formation department, and they basically carry some materials for setting up formations with them. Good stuff, this is worth a lot of credits. Shuan's eyes lit up when he saw this, and he was picking through a pile of formation materials. Killing formation, trap formation, illusion formation, are all miscellaneous. Although they are not worth much individually, when gathered together, they are also a fortune. It's time for us to leave. The smell of blood here will attract monsters. It's a pity that we can't set up a formation to defeat the Blood God clan. I can only light the incense to attract demons and block the entrance here. Ji Yuli looked regretful. If there were formations to assist him and the monsters fought head-on, they would definitely be able to kill more blood gods. It's okay, didn't we just capture a lot of formation flags? Shuan squatted on the ground with a smile on his face, dazzled by the seals in his hands, and kept hitting the formation flags. What are you doing? Ji Yuli asked confused. He knows nothing about battle tactics and cannot understand them at all. Leave some small gifts for the Blood God clan. Although these formation flags are not as powerful as senior sisters, they are not weak in power. When these formation flags are linked together to form a large combined formation, it will be more difficult than a complete killing formation. Finally, a self-destruction pattern will be engraved on each formation flag, hehe. The seals in his hands were flying, and Shuan smiled sadly. When the time comes, put the ecstasy pill into the formation, and several formations will explode together. The scene will be absolutely enjoyable. Ji Yuli was confused when he heard this, but Shangguan Ruonen on the side opened his mouth in shock. Junior brother, are you joking? Shangguan Ruonen said in disbelief. How can several formations be combined into one large formation? The array patterns in those formation bases are all fixed. If you move them even slightly, they may completely fail. Not to mention, a set of self-destruction formation patterns will be added. Shangguan Ruonen opened her mouth, unable to continue. Shuan's thoughts were beyond her imagination. Fortunately, it's not difficult. Shuan kept making formation seals in his hands and said without raising his head. Although the formation patterns in these formation flags are fixed, we don't need to move these formation patterns. We just need to re-engrave a complete set of formations on these formation patterns and link them together. With the link formation, these formation flags can communicate with each other, as long as they are separated by self-destruction formation patterns when several formations are operating. After those people from the Blood God clan forcibly break the formations will conflict and collide, and the self-destruction formations will detonate the entire formation. The more Shuan talked, the more excited he became, and the afterimages of his hand quickly appeared. Ji Yuli, who was watching from the side, looked at the shocked Shangguan Ruonen and asked in confusion. Is this difficult? In Ji Yuli's impression, Shangguan Ruonen's understanding of formations was very strong. Even if some teachers are not as good as each other in terms of understanding of formations, is Shuan's formation still better than Shangguan Ruonen's? Is it hard? Shangguan Ruonen stared at the dazzling array patterns in Shuan's hands and said with a wry smile. This is not a question of whether it is difficult or not, but a question of cognition. Not to mention using this method, I have never heard of it. I'm sure that even Yi Yongfang, not to mention the instructors of the formation system, can't do this kind of technique. Shangguan Ruonan's eyes showed wonder. Your junior brother's understanding of the formation is too terrifying. The speed with which he formed the seals, and the formation patterns he engraved. I don't have the same level of understanding as him at all. As she said that, she looked at Ji Yuli with strange eyes. Where did you find such a monster? Is he really admitted to the academy from a small town? Not a descendant of a family of formations. God knows how much shock Xuan's understanding of the formation brought to Shangguan Ruonan. The Shangguan family has extensive experience in formations, but even so, she has never seen such a person. Mater, this kid told me that the formation you obtained is only a medium-sized formation. A medium-sized formation can be difficult for Ruonan to understand. Looking at Xuan's back, Ji Yuli felt a toothache. His junior brother may not be as simple as he thought. Under the strange gazes of the two people, Xuan quickly completed his masterpiece. It was a weird array with changing effects, and the trigger switch was at the entrance to the secret realm. As long as the Blood God clan steps in, the formation will be activated immediately. Brother, light some incense. Ji Yuli nodded and inserted 2 demon-calling incense sticks 100 meters away from the entrance. This special fragrance will attract monsters within a 50-mile radius. The monsters that had been chasing the smell of blood and came to the nearby area rushed over crazily when they smelled the scent of the monster-attracting incense. At this time, Xuan and the others had already gone deep into the secret realm. At the same time, at the entrance outside the secret realm, a team of 100 people was approaching quickly. Those are people from the Blood God clan. Outside the secret realm, more than 100 people came in force, looking at the fluorescent entrance to the secret realm with fiery and greedy eyes. The leader is Goroya from the Blood God clan. Sir, if there are so many of us acting together, we must be discovered by the human race. It's better to enter the secret realm earlier. If we wait for those humans to come, I'm afraid something will change. Zan Yi stood high in the sky, bowed his head to Goroya beside him and said respectfully. 50 people from the Blood God sect have also come this time. Are there any dangerous places in the secret area that they can explore? Goroya nodded, very satisfied with Zan Yi's thoughtfulness. It doesn't matter, this secret realm has natural suppression, and no one who is too strong is allowed to enter. Among the physical and spiritual warriors, no one can be my opponent from the Blood God sect. Goroya's words were full of confidence. The people he brought this time were all the geniuses of the Blood God clan. The new generation headed by Yara, below also held their heads up proudly. They really hope that there are humans in this secret area, so that they can kill them happily. It came quickly. Goroya sneered and looked into the distance with his bloody eyes. In the distant sky, large waves of clouds were approaching quickly like ocean waves. When I first saw it, it was still in the sky, but in a blink of an eye, I was already in front of me. As the cloud tide dissipated, many strong men from the human race were clearly visible. Bold, if you dare to covet the secret realm of the human race, you are seeking death. The city guard commander roared angrily, and a strong evil aura filled the air. The other strong men from the human race also had evil expressions on their faces and looked at the Blood God clan people with murderous intent in their eyes. The atmosphere is tense, and a war could break out if you are not careful. Don't be nervous, it's just a small secret realm. Goroya took 2 steps forward and said casually. Since we have met, it means that this secret realm is related to our Blood God clan. I think all of you from the human race won't be too petty, right? As he spoke, his blood-colored pupils bloomed with gleaming brilliance, causing the void to crack and reorganize. The strong human beings were shocked. When the bloody pupils swept towards them, they felt like they were being looked at. Sir, you are joking. How dare the human race stop us? You may have forgotten that the battlefield on the front line is still under the control of the blood gods. Zan Yi came behind Goroya, looked at the strong human race, and said in a calm tone. Zan Yi, seeing the coming person, everyone in the human race gritted their teeth, and the hatred in their eyes was clearly visible. They were supposed to be the genius of the human race, but now they have become the lackeys of the Blood God clan, which made them tremble with anger. But as Zan Yi said, they don't dare to fight now. If these blood gods are to be destroyed, then the front line will be in big trouble. And while a few people were talking, 2 more streams of light fell from the sky. The visitors were Yi Yongfeng and Lin Chengyuan. The 2 of them looked in the direction of the secret realm as soon as they arrived. When they saw that the entrance was surrounded by the Blood God clan, they both frowned. Why is the human race forming such a large formation just to prevent the Blood God race from entering the secret realm? Gaowu said in a sarcastic tone. It's a pity that this secret realm can only be entered by the physical realm and the spiritual realm. I'm afraid you won't have a chance. Of course, you can also find some little ones in the physical and spiritual realms and see how many can come out after entering the secret realm. As soon as the words fell, the young blood gods burst into laughter. Find someone, we are waiting for the so-called genius of the human race. Haha, I'm afraid they don't dare. In front of us, do humans dare to call themselves geniuses? Ha 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 ha, this is the territory of the human race, do you want to save some face for the human race? The sarcastic laughter resounded throughout the world, and the faces of the powerful human race suddenly darkened. Snort. Lin Chengyuan snorted coldly, like the roar of a god, and the whole world shook suddenly. The young blood god tribesmen who had laughed out loud suddenly turned pale, and their laughter stopped abruptly. With your status, why would you attack some young people? Zhan Yi stepped forward and stood in front of Lin Chengyuan. Teach them a free lesson. They are not qualified to laugh at me now. After finishing speaking, Lin Chengyuan looked at Zhan Yi and said calmly. If you are uneducated, you should take care of them, don't you think so? Senior brother. Few people know that Zhan Yi was also a disciple of the Perfection Department. Junior brother's control is a little too lenient. It's not your turn to control the people of the Blood God clan. Zhan Yi's face was as cold as ever, even when facing his former classmates. Humph, there was a scene in heaven. Let me see if you are still so hard to surpass after breaking away from the perfection system. Lin Chengyuan's voice seemed to be suppressing anger, and he jumped into the sky in a flash. Sir, please let me go and come. Zhan Yi first bowed to Gaowu, and then stepped up into the sky. Just a short while later, terrifying fluctuations appeared in the depths of the sky, and turbulent cloud tides shot out in all directions like waves. Neither the human race nor the blood god sect were too surprised by this. There are very few perfect people who can control Zhan Yi when they meet him, and they will give him a good fight every time they see him. Zhen, it's really exciting, it takes people's lives. Gaowu seemed to be able to see the 2 people fighting far away, and couldn't help but admire them. But he just looked at it for a moment, then waved his hand and said, let's go into the secret realm, and then let these human seniors see what good things we have taken away. Everyone in the Blood God clan burst into laughter, and then looked at the entrance to the secret realm with expectant faces. The legendary secret realm, how many good things will there be in it? Come with me. The leader, Yara, had fiery eyes and immediately led everyone into the entrance of the secret realm. The strong men from the human race looked at it with gloomy expressions, intent on blocking it, but there were also many strong men from the Blood God clan. They were also afraid that a fight would give the Blood God clan an excuse and trigger a war on the front lines. This secret realm is a pity. Everyone sighed inwardly, acquiescing to the fact that the Blood God clan entered the secret realm. However, at this time, Yara and others, who were full of expectations and led everyone into the secret realm, were confused. They had just stepped into the secret realm. Before they could take a closer look at the surrounding environment, a terrifying roar rang in their ears. Roar! A 5-meter-tall lion, an eagle with a wingspan of more than 10 meters, and wild wolves all over the mountain showing their sinister fangs. The entrance to this secret realm was actually filled with densely packed monster beasts. And the moment the Blood God clan entered, these confused monsters rioted. The strong body, sharp fangs, and the terrifying number made everyone in the Blood God clan look frightened. The secret realm. Daughter all so scary. Run! Yala's panic-filled roar sounded, and everyone returned without hesitation. But who knew that before they could act quickly, curtains of light would rise at the entrance to the secret realm. Ah, there is a killing array here. Why is this a magic formation here? No, this is clearly a trap. The power of these formations was not strong, but after this delay, the monsters immediately pounced on them, and many tribesmen were lost in just an instant. Break this formation. Yara yelled angrily when he saw this, and took the lead to punch the formation hard. The others reacted quickly when they saw this, and launched powerful attacks together on the light screen. These blood gods were indeed carefully selected geniuses, and they destroyed these formations with just one attack. But before Yara and the others showed joy, the destroyed formation completely exploded. Boom, boom, boom. A series of big explosions made everyone dumbfounded. They were so bombed that they couldn't even feel their direction. This wasn't the end yet. When the explosion sounded, the ecstasy pill hidden in the formation was also blown to pieces. The blown powder spread into the air, and the eyes of some of the blood gods who were still desperately resisting the monsters began to become blurred. The monsters immediately started slaughtering. Conspiracy. This is a human conspiracy. Just after entering the secret realm, half of the number of people was lost, and Yara's mentality collapsed. He roared angrily, leading the remaining people with grief and anger, and got into the exit of the secret realm in disgrace. The outside world at this time. The people of the Blood God clan were laughing and talking about what the clansmen would gain in the secret realm and how much the clansmen's strength would increase during this trip. The human race on the side looked at it with sinking faces, secretly grinding their teeth. But the sudden flash of brilliance at the entrance to the secret realm made everyone stunned. Coming out so soon, everyone was wondering, and the next moment, Yara and others appeared on the scene with their faces covered in blood and disgraced by the bombing. The human race was stunned, and the blood god race was also confused. Is this secret realm so scary? In the secret realm. After setting up the trap, Shuan and others did not have time to see the effect, so they headed all the way to the depths of the secret realm. This secret realm is very large, and the area is so vast that you can't see the edge at a glance. Rich, mist-like spiritual power permeates the world, towering ancient trees reach into the sky, vines twine in the forest, and various exotic flowers and plants emit faint fragrance. The majestic mountains that you can see are like the back of a giant dragon, with rolling hills and mountains. If it weren't for the roars of monsters that sounded from time to time, this beautiful environment would be like a magnificent picture. Be careful, our destination is a valley in the center of the secret realm. The spiritual energy in that place is so strong and scary, and there are a lot of monsters all around. These things are very difficult to deal with. On the way, Ji Yuli introduced the dangers in this secret territory. The most terrifying thing is those monster beasts. Although the secret realm suppresses humans, the monsters are not affected. In other words, extremely powerful monsters may appear in this secret territory. Then there's going to be a god-level monster that we can't even run away from. Shuan asked with some confusion. If that were the case, the three of them coming here would be as good as death. Don't worry, this secret realm has only been open for a short time, and the monsters inside have not been practicing for a long time. But it will be hard to say if it happens after a while. This is my only chance. Ji Yuli's eyes showed determination. Whatever he said today would be successful. Although the natural suppression in the secret realm would gradually dissipate over time, he could not determine the length of time. If he waits for 2 years, he will be completely useless. Although today's secret realm is dangerous, with Ruonin's formation and the formation treasure in Jishuan, there is a high chance of success. Roar. Just as a few people were moving forward cautiously, a violent roar sounded. Careful. Ji Yuli's expression changed and he hurriedly reminded him. As soon as his voice fell, a 3-meter-high and 5-meter-long lion came to attack him. The oppressive body, the sharp fangs, and the strong and powerful boiling blood made Shuan's scalp numb. Cut. Shangguan Ruonin and Ji Yuli both moved forward at the same time, with majestic blood and pure spiritual power swarming out. Boom. However, with just one blow, Shangguan Ruonin and Ji Yuli were slapped away by the lion's paw. Maid, these monsters are stronger. Ji Yuli cursed lowly, then took off the sunset bow behind him. Chun Yun. With a low shout, the sunset bow in Ji Yuli's hand burst out with blood-colored light, and a large arrow about 10 feet long shot out like a spear. Boom. The surrounding spiritual energy surged, and the arrow like a meteor accurately hit the lion's eye. Roar. A roar filled with pain and fury rang out, and the lion's strong limbs began to snap at random. Shuan, who watched from a distance, breathed a sigh of relief. These monster beasts were terrifying in body, but they had no intelligence. Even if the strength is not as strong as this lion, the battle will end quickly. After the battle, Ji Yuli peeled off the lion's heart and held a jade bottle in his hand. Following the seal in his hand, a suction force emerged from the mouth of the jade bottle, and 5 drops of radiant blood flew out from the lion's heart and entered the bottle. Shuan was watching in amazement when Ji Yuli suddenly waved his hand and threw the jade bottle over. This is. Shuan was stunned as he looked at the jade bottle in his hand. The gadgets studied in the weapon refining department can absorb the blood essence from monsters or aliens on their own. Ruonin and I don't need the essence and blood. Your current state is just right. Ji Yuli pointed at the lion on the ground and chuckled. The essence and blood of monsters is much purer than the essence and blood of aliens. You are lucky. Collect the essence and blood of the monsters you kill later. With that said, Ji Yuli handed Shuan the seal that activated the jade bottle. This sealing method is very simple. To put it bluntly, weapon refining is to engrave some special formations when making weapons. Shuan got started quickly with this thing. Gone. After beheading the lion, Ji Yuli didn't waste much time. He said hello and continued heading deeper. On the way, Shuan poured out a drop of demonic beast blood, with curiosity in his eyes. How many blood strengthening pills is equivalent to 1 drop of monster blood? With some anticipation, Shuan drank a drop of blood essence. When the essence and blood enters the mouth, there is no unpleasant smell of blood, but a faint fragrance of large medicine. As the essence and blood entered his abdomen, Shuan's face instantly turned red as blood. In his body, a majestic energy and blood burst out, rushing towards the meridians and 5 internal organs. Shuan groaned and quickly started to use the blood sea kung fu to refine the rich qi and blood. He didn't expect that this drop of demonic beast essence blood actually contained such powerful energy and blood power. Haha, this is the essence blood of the monster beast at the peak of casting. 1 drop is as good as 10 blood strengthening pills. Seeing Shuan's embarrassment, Ji Yuli couldn't help but chuckle. Shuan cursed secretly, his face turned bloody, and the blood sea kung fu in his body was running wildly. In a moment, the majestic qi and blood turned into essence fire and began to refine his internal organs, meridians and bones. But even so, the energy and blood in the body are still strong, and there is a feeling that it is about to burst. Shuan was breathing hot air from his nose, and a red light flashed under his feet. Shunpo. To release combat skills, he could only rely on this method to consume the vast energy and blood in his body. Sure enough, after releasing Shunpo more than a dozen times, the energy and blood in the body finally came under control. Shuan's body was full of energy, and his eyes were full of energy. His aura became almost clearly visible, and a thin layer of impurities appeared on the skin under his clothes. Just a drop of monster blood made his body stronger. At the same time, using the extra energy and blood to release Shunpo, his understanding of combat skills is gradually deepening. It can be used to practice the newly obtained Wandering Dragon Step. Shuan's eyes brightened slightly. Although practicing this way is a bit too extravagant and consumes energy and blood, it is a wonderful method that can quickly achieve combat skills. Furthermore, are there any monsters missing in this secret realm? Thinking of this, while the energy and blood in his body were declining, Shuan swallowed a drop of blood again. The majestic energy and blood burst out, but this time Shuan was much calmer. The blood sea technique operates extremely fast, and the essence fire explodes and burns in the body. The excess energy and blood that could not be condensed was poured into Shuan's legs, and he appeared in the distance in a flash. Along the way, Shuan collected more than a dozen drops of demonic beast essence and blood. While his body became stronger, his Shunpo gradually became more powerful. Over and over again, Shuan gradually became obsessed with that fast and powerful feeling. As the energy and blood in his body became thicker and his mastery of Shunpo became more perfect, Shuan subconsciously used stronger combat skills. Wandering Dragon Step. With a soft murmur, Shuan's entire body was wrapped in red light and disappeared instantly. But this time, he no longer just moved in a straight line, but moved left and right, with a speed that was so fast that it was unpredictable. Seen from a distance, Shuan, shrouded in red light, looks like a real swimming dragon, flying and leaping quickly and agilely. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.